Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to EGFC Season 4, Week 13. We are here for some Rocket League. No FIFA today. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is time for some Rocket League. St. John's versus Villanova. George Overton joined by Matt Aho. How are you today, Matt?
I am very well. Yeah, looking forward to St. John's versus Villanova. And yeah, glad it's Wednesday, middle of the week. We're looking pretty good. On the come down towards the weekend now. So yeah, looking good. I see, you're sporting all your American sport attire.
Yep.
Maybe in honor of the Olympics as well, including esports now, which we're going to hear about.
Yeah, very interesting. I know that you was having a look at all the exact sports and stuff like that we were going to be seeing in the Olympics, but either way, very exciting stuff. Is there any that particularly that you like, Matt? That you're
I like
interested in?
motorsport, but less about the Olympics. Let's talk about Rocket League. Let's talk about St. John's versus Villanova. That's why we're here. So we've got St. John's sitting in 21st in the standings. We've got Villanova in 7th. So it is kind of like a bit of a mismatch in the table. It's a team that's fighting at the top half versus a team struggling in the lower half. But we will see. Anything can happen in Rocket League. Best of 5. We have plenty of action in store tonight. But yeah, Villanova are going to look to try and close the gap on the teams above them tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We know a lot about St. John as as an org, as a university, how they compete every single week and they come out fighting, trying their absolute damnedest. We see them perform every season, trying their absolute best. It seems like it's not going too well for them in terms of the Rocket League table right now, but who knows? Maybe today can be the turnaround that they are looking for. But coming up against one of the top teams in the division, it is going to be very, very difficult to do so. But as you can see, the teams are just about ready and set to get underway here with some Rocket League action. Let's go.
Let's get straight into it. So yeah, Villanova will be the team in orange, and we will see St. John's being the blue team. So yeah, going to be a really interesting start to the game. We'll see who's going to be up for the challenge and who's going to be up for the contest. And we might get an early goal. It's taking just 16 seconds. Classical sprite for St. John's.
School sprite for St. John's, a questionable profile picture, but we'll keep on going with it. A nice little flip into the ball there to get the touch into the back of the net. Nobody really in rotation for Villanova there to save it, but either way, good little bit of play. I don't think I missed out on any bumps or anything like that, but fairly standard kickoff once again. And Villanova are going to be disappointed that they've gone 1 goal down here, but I'm sure they will bounce back sooner rather than later. It's only 30 seconds in, so plenty of time for a big comeback. Riley with a nice shot there. Goalkeeper can't get in the air to deal with it, and now it is all tied up at 1-1. Great shot from Riley. Good pass from Horse, you can see there. Just manages to get the flip into it. Goalkeeper can't really go up for it, not too sure. Maybe 0 boost, but either way, good start to the game for both teams, really, getting a goal each.
Yeah, really good game. And I was going to say, actually, last week we casted a similar sort of standings where it was a lower team against the higher team in the league. And we might see a really good follow-up here. And it's just enough on it from Milky Boy. I thought he was going to make too much, but seemed to slow himself down here. Horse absolutely just, that was an insane bit of play there. Milky Boy does just enough to dink it into the corner there. And just like that, it's turned around. St. John's have thrown away the early lead. It only took another 25 seconds, and now they find themselves 2-1 down.
Yeah, lovely flip reset from Horse to get to the ball and make sure he can redirect it into a better position for his teammate to get the double tap. But, well, it wasn't a double tap in the end. It was just a light little touch. Keeper couldn't really do too much about it. But now Villanova have the lead. Are we going to see St. John's look to bounce back? It's been in Villanova's, it's been in St. John's, sorry's half for a little while here, so they do need to be careful. Villanova piling on the pressure. Riley going down for the shot. Milk Boy is there, but can't quite find the angle on it, and now maybe a chance for St. John's to counter-attack.
Yeah, I was going to say, when St. John's went 1-0 up and the sort of game turned back up on its head, we saw this last week when we were commentating, didn't we, against the team. We had a higher team be a lower team in the standings, and I think it was every single game the lower team surprised us and took the lead in every single game. I think we did end up going to a best of 5 as well, didn't we, last week? So we'll have to see if we can get a repeat of that. But St. John's looked strong for the first sort of 30 seconds, but yeah, just 2 goals in sort of like 15 seconds probably was enough for Villanova to turn it round. 2-1. We're 2 minutes into the game now, and it's been a bit of a quiet period now. We've had over a minute without a goal now.
Yeah, but Villanova finding the ball in their opponent's half more often than not, and Milky Boy going up for the double tap, can't quite find it. Riley going to put it up and look for one of his own. Can he get the angle, the double tap, the triple tap? Lost Sand, can he keep it in? And Horse is just there. It's going to go over the line eventually. That is all that matters. Riley gets a couple of touches off the wall. Nice little flip reset into the attempt at the goal, but fortunately, Horse is there to put it in the back of the net. 3-1 to Villanova. You can see their nice shots in chat. Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, Lost Sand just tried to do what they could there. We might see it. Oh, really good save actually there from Horse at the other end. Horse's contribution actually looks crazy. I think there was a stat in every single. Well, he had something in every single stat there for goals, shots, assist, and saves. So he's been pretty active so far. But yeah, Lost Sand just unable to keep it out. Tried and tried, but I think was almost sort of at a bit of a standstill and couldn't get any boost to make any real impact on clearing the ball there.
Well, Milky was actually blocking his own team. I think it was Horse was blocking his own teammate there, looking to try and go for the redirect. Good touch from Riley, but Sprite with a nice receive. Milk Boy trying to contest. Good demo from Treachery. Riley just about manages to contest that one in a bit of a stalemate, but still, ball is being contested by both teams. Slows it down a little bit, pings it away from Riley. And yeah, both teams just trying to find a little bit of time on the ball, because it's all going a bit fast right now. The ball's just being pinged about. I think this is what Villanova want to do, though, because they're winning. They can just play the ball at a fast speed, play slow in your half, run the time of the clock down.
Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of, not necessarily no urgency, because, with Rocket League, one good clearance and, the ball's at the other end of the pitch straight away is a really good diving down shot there from Horse coming out from high there, looking for a good pinch off the floor, and there's a lovely touch. There is some cover at the back, and like you said, Villanova speeding up the play a little bit in the opposition half, but aren't in any particular rush. The ball might be heading goalwards here. There is a good touch just over the crossbar there, and there's a bit of a follow-up, and we do see Classical Sprite pick up another goal, trying their best to keep St. John's in this. Only a goal in it now. A really good follow-up there. Actually may have got a little bit of luck. I think Riley actually got in there as well. But 3-2, here we go. Just over a minute left, and it's a pretty tight game again.
Yeah, it's been a great game so far. St. John's managing to find a way back into the game once again. We'll have to see if they can bring it back to level pegging this time. It will be very difficult to do so, but we do love to see a little bit of overtime. Everybody likes to see it. Maybe going for a ceiling pinch here. Milky Boy looks for the flip reset instead. Can't quite find it. Good bit of defending from St. John's. Riley touches it down with a double touch. Treachery there to receive. And once again, Villanova under a lot of pressure, but fighting well against that pressure. Getting a lot of good reads, a lot of good one-on-ones, and nobody in rotation there. Horse, easy double tap, misses. Milk Boy can't quite find the follow-up. And once again, Villanova unable to finish this game off. St. John's still in a fighting chance.
Yeah, they're kind of hanging on in there at the moment, aren't they? As Riley and Horse both got for the same ball. There's nobody back now for St. John's, though. Into the final seconds, Classical Sprite. If anyone's going to do it right at the end, could it be them? There is a demo coming in, but unless something miraculous happens here, it will be full time and a win. Very tight game to start with, though. Just 3-2 for Villanova. So, yeah, very tight game. Horse MVP by an absolute mile, to be fair. Double the score of anybody else on their team. Everybody chipping in with a goal, though, for Villanova. So that's quite good to see, showing that although the score of Horse was double anybody else, actually, in terms of goal contributions, everybody chipping in.
Yeah, it was a great game. And one stat definitely that you have to touch on is Horse with 3 saves. Which is a pretty damn good stat. If he's the back rotation player, the third player, making sure he's always in rotation, making sure he's always there when those shots come in. And the couple of times that he wasn't there, they conceded the goals. So maybe that needs to be the game plan for St. John's going into the second game, is maybe try to get a few more bumps on Horse. Trying to get a few demos going in as well, because we didn't really see too many demos, to be fair, did we?
Really? No, we've seen demos quite often. There was I can't remember who was playing about 2 weeks ago, and there was probably about 8 or 9 demos in one game, wasn't there? It was very aggressive. We didn't see that in this game. There was probably maybe only a small handful of them, but we'll have to see as game 2 kicks off. St. John's obviously took an early lead in the first game, just 16 seconds in, but ended up sort of succumbing to a 3-2 defeat in the end. But again, it's good to see that they're in with a good fighting chance, because although you look at the table and say, you know, it's 7th versus 21st, a lot of people would say, you know, oh, should be an easy win for Villanova. But actually, St. John's putting up a real good fight, and that is what you want to see. There might be an early chance here, though. Milky Boy tucks it in at the far post. It was actually Milky Boy who put the first ball forward. Riley getting a lovely backflip off the wall there, and it does hit Sprite almost into the path of Milky Boy. But yeah, really good team play there on that goal.
Yeah, lovely pass off the backboard. Once again from Riley. Horse sitting back in defence. He was ready to pounce on the ball if it did fall kindly, but we are seeing that quite a lot. We're seeing Horse sit back, so maybe that's something that if Villanova do end up winning, Horse is a player for the interview, maybe we'll have to ask whether that is something they do indeed train on, you know, making sure that Horse is the player back on rotations, whether Milky is the contester or the setter, however you want to play it. But either way, St. John's, it's only a 1-goal deficit here, so still plenty of time for St. John's to get back in this game. Horse with a good little touch away, but it's an awkward ball, manages to get it clear. Treachery goes up, puts a shot on target. Riley can get it out to the corner, and a few bumps there, but well defended once again from Villanova.
Yeah, sort of well played in defence from Villanova, but to be fair, I'm seeing St. John's, and they're not sort of going as a team. They're not going forward as a team. It seems to be very much solo sort of run, solo contest. They're going to concede. No, they're not. What a save from Treachery. That's what they need at the other end of the pitch, though. They need that second teammate following in on the follow-up, on the second ball, because it's great defence. Oh, really good opportunity there. Almost got the pinch off the floor there. That would have been a beautiful goal. There's another chance coming in. Everything is just on target at the moment from Villanova. It's almost a case of when are they going to score and not if they're going to score.
Yeah, the thing is, even if they get a shot on target, even if they know that it's going to be a fairly weak shot, they'll still do absolutely everything to try and get at least just a wheel on target. But either way, Riley here setting it up for the aerial. Can he find anything decent? No. Well defended. But once again, I Am Horse coming in with the demolition. Milky Boy, though, put his team in a very difficult position there. A great finish from Lost Sand to be there. Yeah, just didn't want to be putting that up on the back wall. If you do as well, you could have looked for the double tap to get it away, but a great finish, and that is not a goal explosion I have seen in quite some time. The Saw goal explosion, Jigsaw.
Yeah, that was a very long time ago that one was around, wasn't it? But yeah, it was unfortunate for Milky Boy. He looked to do the right thing, but kind of just set the ball really for St. John's to get a fairly easy tap in, and Milky Boy ended up in the back of his own net, so that did make it kind of almost impossible for him to then look to knock it out. It's a lovely, lovely bit of play there. Milky Boy making up for his error, and that is 2 fantastic team goals. Not just great contact, but look at that, just the pass straight into the middle there, onto the finish. Beautiful shot. So much power in that. 87 miles an hour, that shot.
Yeah, gorgeous redirect, the pass, and then just to get the car in the right position to air roll to the right part of the contact with the ball, with the car. It's just picture perfect stuff. They could look for another one. Lost Sand does well to get there. Milky Boy just contesting the ball. And Lost Sand just playing the disruption game. Riley goes up, it's a clean shot, but can't find the double tap again. Villanova struggling to find their double taps this game so far, but you know, it's a tough task. It is a tough contest, and doing it on these kind of stages, it can be, it can be nerve-wracking. There's a lot of pressure. Some nice wave dashes along the wall there from Milky Boy, but finds a demo on the player in net. Could look for the goal out of rotation, but well defended, well rotated once again from St. John's.
Yeah, that was quite an awkward bit of defence there. I think it was Lost Sand coming around the back there. The angle was a bit against him, kind of facing his own goal, but did enough to direct it sideways, and Sprite's going to be there at the back. But look at this, they're not even able to play it off the wall and look for the second touch. It's just every time Villanova have somebody contesting up, reading it. Look, there's another one in the middle. It's a lovely touch. Good save though from Treachery. Read it well. But at the moment, the team play is just on point from Villanova. They're not getting very many sort of solo opportunities. it's very much like an aerial into a redirect, or they're looking to pinch it, and there's always someone following up. So this is going to be a bit of a lucky one though. That one does get a little rebound. Horse gets the goal, puts a little bit of daylight now. They were 3-1 up in the first game, remember. They ended up winning 3-2 still. But, St. John's only a little over a minute now to find 2 goals if they're going to take it to overtime.
Well, it's not really a great finish, but it's a great contest, isn't it? Knowing that you can go in for the 50 in those kind of positions, and obviously getting your car in a better position is always nice. Treachery fighting for his team forward there, trying to find a little bit of play, but once again, when the ball is up in the air, you should expect the Villanova player to be there as well. It's a lovely bit of play. Once again, Horse just getting that little... It's not really a pinch, but it hits the ball and the car at a weird angle. It just goes flying up in the air. You spam a jump in there at the same time, and then your teammates there to finish off. 4-1 to Villanova, and this one is looking very tough for St. John's. Might have to go for the best of... Well, go for the best of 5 win. You're going to have to try and go for a reverse sweep at this point, which is a very tough task. But, you never know. It starts with 1.
Well, that's it. You've got to take each game as it comes. Every single game of Rocket League can be very different. And they had an early goal. Oh, there's a great demo there from Riley, actually. Classical Sprite might have got there first. It would have been a bit of a shot from the deep, really, coming in. But, yeah, sensing the danger there, Riley, and getting the demo. And already, look at this. Riley's then there to follow up. That move effectively started and ended with Riley. Key contributions there. Milky Boy did really, really well. Battled away. Drilled it into the ground, and Riley's just following up. But yeah, Riley getting that demo where at the other end, Classical Sprite was looking to come in. May well have been, I don't know, I couldn't get the best angle to see if Classical Sprite would have got there first and made contact, but it was definitely a chance. There's a long shot coming off here, but once again, Milky Boy sweeping up. But yeah, Milky Boy already got a hat-trick in this game as well. He's going to get another save. Milky Boy is absolutely stat padding here, but 5-1 in this one. The score is going to look insane from Milky Boy. But 5-1 that one to Villanova. Looking good. Yeah, Milky Boy 3 goals, a couple of saves at the end there. Look at that. 3-1-2-4. Massive contributions in all areas of the field. Unfortunately for St. John's, they just can't seem to get anything going at the moment.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough when you're coming up against one of the best teams in the league. They're so clean with their balls off the wall. You can with the passes, even with the carries and stuff like that. We saw one towards the end of the game there with the final goal. It was I Am Horse. He took the ball off the wall. He was pretty much close in contact with the ball the entire time from one half to the other, pretty much end to end. And then he got a really nice clean 50-50 contest off, puts the ball up, and then your teammates do the rest. It's clean Rocket League from Villanova. There isn't really much more you can say about it. They are just very good in the air, very fast to their aerials. And right now, St. John's, they just don't know how to deal with the speed that they're going at right now.
Yeah, and I think I sort of mentioned it briefly at one stage during the game, is that St. John's almost need to, when they're attacking, need to get somebody kind of just following up behind. They seem to be defending in numbers, so there's always sort of 1 or 2 back. But when they're attacking, they're getting those balls into the right area, and they're going to go 1-0 down already here, just 12 seconds in. It's looking like it could be a 3-0 sweep for Villanova at the moment, but still a long way to go in this one. I think when St. John's attack, though, a lot of it seems to be quite solo. I don't know whether that's intentional, or whether they're just not able to keep up with teammates, or they just don't seem to have the connection, maybe the communication that Villanova do, because Villanova always have somebody in that position. Like there's nobody here following up there. See, from Treachery, if someone's there close to Treachery, could be a chance for a goal. Maybe they've just got to play a little bit more aggressive, take a few more risks, but they're still battling well. They've scored in both games so far.
Well, it's difficult because nobody likes to talk about ranks in these kind of situations. But Villanova, as we see a chance, maybe going in, but well defended once again, just comes off of the post. But yeah, you look at the likes of Villanova, they are very high elo. I'm pretty sure we have SSL players in Villanova. If I quickly just have a look at their names under their names, what are they called? The nicknames, that's the one. Season 5 Supersonic Legend, Season 1 RN Genius Supersonic Legend, I think that is. And then on the side of St. John's, it's all GC tournament winners. So, you know, if you look at it, it's only one rank difference, but really, it's a very big difference in terms of raw skill. But for them to be, you know, playing in these games against such high-rated players and to only really be losing by 1 or 2 goals, as we see an equaliser from Treachery to bring them back at 1-1. Just to finish off what I was saying, you know, it's props to St. John's for staying in the game and keeping it fairly close throughout. I know they haven't had a crazy amount of opportunities to attack, but when they have had the opportunities, they've been trying their best to put them in the back of the net.
Yeah, you never know, and like you said, you know, the ranking system in Rocket League, you know, it might only be one rank, but sometimes just climbing into the next rank is, you know, is literally a whole different ball game, isn't it? It's not one of those games where you kind of the skill level gradually improves. That the skill level has quite drastic improvements from one to the next. You know, you might not say in the lower ranks that the difference is that big, but once everyone's climbed to a stage where they're comfortable and they're really competitive game after game, as we see a good chance there, but really well played from Villanova. Their defence has been good from Villanova. However, St. John's have scored in every game though, so that's something to take away from this. And when you're playing teams that are higher than you in the standings, there's always a lot to learn from these games. You know, you can see what they're doing, the Villanova side, and I just think maybe St. John's maybe just be a little bit bolder on their attacks. Like I said, because when the ball drops to Villanova in the centre, there'll probably be someone here following up with Horse. Maybe not on that occasion, but St. John's quite often have just one player going forward in attack. We've got Treachery here. Is there anybody in the middle? Is Treachery going to find some space? But again, you know, you've got one on the halfway line, one in goal. There's not really anybody in close proximity. That's the only thing.
No, 100%. It's because the likelihood that the player's going to come through and the player's going to succeed, they're saying, well, it's probably not too high. But you've got to put yourself in those situations. You've got to try and get yourself there. It's a lovely team pinch, 2-man pinch there. Almost pays off. Milky Boy almost read that one and got to the shot. But Classical Sprite going to be putting a ball middle. I Am Horse manages to get on the end of it. And yeah, it's just so difficult to play against Villanova because every ball you put somewhere, it's just getting cleared because they're just so fast and rotating. Oh, the save was almost there. Treachery managed to just carry it out of net, but it's been a tough game. This one's still going down to the wire though. Only 1-1. Villanova still yet to get themselves that goal to put them in the lead. We'll have to see if St. John's, who knows, maybe they can take it.
Yeah, just 90 seconds left on the clock, and it's put into a bit of a dangerous area. So, like, that's one thing actually that Villanova, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a weakness, but it's something that they've been struggling with. Lost Sand, beautiful finish there, and St. John's take the lead here. They're in with a good chance with just 80 seconds left on the clock. But no, just what I was going to go say there, that there's a couple of occasions where Villanova have sort of hit it off the backboard and are almost gifting St. John's like half a chance. You know, they're putting it back into that area, right in the middle of their own, effectively their own penalty area. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, they've done well enough to clear it, or there's not been anyone close enough from St. John's. But maybe a slight mistake. Maybe there's a reason why they're not competing at the very top of the table. Maybe why they're in 7th. I know there's a lot of teams in the league, so, you know, putting together a win streak could climb you up the table a lot there. But it's you know, they do seem to give St. John's a couple of chances a game where they're just knocking it into a dangerous area themselves.
I mean, it's always going to be tough to keep out a team for an entire game as we see a chance, a nice little bit of play from Horse, but unable to get the power required to beat Lost Sand, who is on an absolute mad one here, trying to keep his team in this best of 5, pulling off a hat-trick of saves and a double goals. Ball goes up. Is there any going to be underneath it? Riley's there. It's a good save from Treachery, though. Milk Boy underneath it will put it into the midfield area. Maybe a chance somebody to go for a cheeky double tap. Horse looks to redirect it, but can't quite find the angle needed. Well defended once again from St. John's, as maybe they get a chance to push up now, but you got to be thinking low boosts on your team members. Villanova could be choking them out for boosts. They could all be on 0 right now. Maybe that's why they don't want to push out from the back. A missed boost there from Treachery. Ball goes up, comes down, and Milky Boy brings it back to level pegging. 2-2 with 2 seconds to go. What a redirect this is. Lovely stuff. The players come out. He puts it down on their heads. Put them on a poster.
Yeah, beautiful there. Look, this goes to show, you know, in Rocket League especially, you have to fight right to the end. Like, even now, time is up. Time is up. But, you know, you've got to wait for the ball to hit the floor. So anything can happen. We are going to go into overtime though. So yeah, just to show Villanova battling right to the end, and that is a thing with Rocket League, and I really enjoy that as a feature. I know it's been a part of the game forever, but it's just one of those things that the game is never truly over until the ball hits the ground, which gives you
Mm.
those last chance saloon goals, and it's only taken 12 seconds. Villanova 3-2 in overtime,
That
and
stuff.
yeah, it was a really good change of direction there. Beautiful treachery, just slightly late to the read on it there. Tried to direct it up, but can only really get it sort of half an inch off the ground there. But yeah, a difficult one for St. John's to take. However, they battled hard. They scored in every single game. They took the third game to overtime, so they sort of never really gave up. Milky Boy picking up the MVP for his side, although Lost Sand was actually a higher point scorer in that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good game. Well played from St. John's to bounce back and to get themselves back in the game with the late goal from Lost Sand. But I'll be honest, the late goal, obviously from I think it was from Riley, the late goal to bring them back to
Yeah.
2-2 and then to win it on overtime. What can you say? It was just a well played from Villanova throughout the entire game, and you got to look at I Am Horse as well because might not be the player that pops up the most in the on the score sheet or anything like that or in the goals, but always there, always solid and doing its defensive part for the team, and yeah, very well played.
Yeah, really good game. We are going to hop to a short break, and just after that, we're going to have an interview with the Villanova player Riley. So we're going to have a short break, and we'll be right back with the interview.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EGFC Season 4 Rocket League Week 13. We are here after the first game of the day. Villanova managed to win 3-0 after the best of 5 against St. John's. Well, we do indeed have an interview with Riley. Riley, congratulations on your win, my friend. How did the game go? How did you feel it went?
I think the game went really well. I think we were kind of feeling ourselves, especially in the second game. But I think a lot of our practice over the season came out today.
Oh, awesome! That's great to hear. I thought you guys looked really good on the field. Obviously, coming up against a team that is a little bit further down the table can always be a tough task, but you managed to deal with it well and went 3-0. So congratulations for that. But I have one question specifically for you, which I did see throughout the game that I wanted to ask. It's about I Am Horse. So I saw him kind of sitting back a little bit. Is he the guy that sits back? Is he got a dedicated role to kind of sit back, defend, and pump the ball upfield when you guys are out of boost kind of thing? Or
Yeah, Horse or Will is he's our brick wall. I don't think anything can get past him sometimes. He's definitely the best defender on our team by a long shot. I think me and Milky Boy have a lot of the offense between the two of us, just because we always trust Horse being the third man because he rarely lets the ball go in. Whereas if Milky Boy or I stayed back, a lot of times we might get scored on. So I think we just rely on him to be, our wall, our brick wall, and that usually lets Milky Boy or I push up farther and hit them with hard offense.
yeah, brilliant.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. The only question I really had was like, how much do you guys chat during the week and during the game as well? Because a lot of your goals were kind of team goals rather than individual ones.
I think that's a big thing that we've been working on this whole season has been just kind of knowing where each other are on the field. I think we made a lot of progress with that, especially this split. I think our passing plays have been better than they ever have in the past. I think it comes down to it's half communication, but I think the most important part would be the chemistry. I mean, if you throw us into a game with no comms, I think we might be able to still pull off a lot of what we're pulling off. It's gotten to the point where we've practiced it so much that we can just kind of know if there's a guy in the center, and before we even have to say like passing, we'll just pass it. I think that saves a lot of our time. So I think our passing plays are just really, really quick and accurate just because of how much we practice them.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. No, we could definitely see that during the game for sure.
Well, then, that is all we have time for. Thank you very much for the interview, Riley. I really appreciate it. Congratulations once again on the win. Is there anything you want to say before we go on to the next game?
Yeah, just shout out to the team, our coach Grace, any members from Beta watching still. Love you guys. Yeah, that's it.
Ah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for the interview, Riley. And thank you very much to all of you at home for watching the first game. We do have a little bit of a break coming up. There is no second game. We are going to be going straight to a little bit of an extended break, but we do have more games coming up for you after that. So, what we're going to do, we're going to throw it to that little break. Well, more than a little break, bit of a long break, but you have more Rocket League coming up later on. Do not fret. That is all for myself and Matt this evening. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Any final words before we send the people home, Matt?
No, I guess just if you are going to carry on watching, just keep an eye on that clock. It's gonna be about an hour before the next game kicks off. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the channel for another update, and we will see you next week. Personally, but yeah, more games to come.
Yeah, indeed. More games to come. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back, everybody, to EGFC Season 4. I'm 10-Rank. Dragon whoops you over into the collegiate scene here in EGF. It's great to have you here tonight, especially for two games that we think are going to be some real bangers. Starting things out with the University of Cincinnati taking on the University of Idaho. Whoops, how are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. You know, it was a great day. The weather was phenomenal here where I live in Illinois, and I grilled out today. That's why I got this nice little grilling t-shirt on. So I was, soaking up some of the suns and just the nice weather and stuff. So I'm coming into this feeling really, really good, energized, excited to be here with you guys, especially, like you said, with some good Rocket League action.
Yeah, we got two teams starting things out, University of Cincinnati and University of Idaho. Cincinnati having a pretty solid season so far. They've been pretty dominant for the most part. They're still a bit of a sleeper team, in all honesty, in the playoff conversation. We don't see a lot of people really bringing them up as a powerhouse team, despite the fact that the results are really solid. Meanwhile, on the other half of that, University of Idaho, a team that's new this spring semester, has had some bad luck with those matchups, got really close to snagging their first dub last week up against the University of North Dakota, took it all the way to 5, but couldn't finish it out. Now they got a bit of a tougher opponent in University of Cincinnati, but I've seen nothing but improvement from this team, and I think they've already made their stake on having a voice here in the EGFC, regardless of not stacking a win on top of that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head there. Cincinnati, like you said, just has so much experience. It's just one of these teams, one of these programs that's just kind of been like a staple here, for in the league scene. They just have so much more room to build on. Idaho, they have a lot of potential as well. It's just unfortunate that, they're just a new breed into the Rocket League scene right now. So they kind of have to get their toes wet right now, kind of have to go through the ringer, figure out what their play style is, and maybe do some recruiting as well in the offseason to kind of, bring some of those other players here, attract them, to this campus as well. So, I mean, I don't know. We're going to see what happens. Obviously, we both kind of feel like, Cincinnati's going to win this matchup, but at the same time, this is Rocket League. Anything can kind of happen.
Cincinnati is the favorite, but this is indeed Rocket League. We begin game number 1 to start things out. Idaho being on different servers, obviously, than Cincinnati. So that was a bit of a stipulation that's going into this match. We'll be starting out on Western servers as Cincinnati lost the coin toss, and loser will pick whatever servers we go to on a game-to-game basis. So if that ping really is that much of a detriment for Cincinnati in this opening game, then hopefully they will know that and be able to alleviate that in game number 2. But so far, not really too much struggle.
I mean, yeah, so far everything's kind of going out as I was about to say that. Basically, almost a goal is scored as well. That one's going to be saved away, though, from Idaho. But at the same time, like you said, this is Rocket League. Anything can kind of happen. I mean, a minute off the clock already, and basically nothing really too crazy really happening. Both of the teams really trying to figure each other out, really trying to establish some sort of presence. But at the same time, Cincinnati, they have opportunities, and opportunities they're going to go ahead and take advantage of as well, as Zumi is going to go ahead and score this one and put Cincinnati up early.
Good starter, a lot of offensive preparation already coming through. I think it was Boofless that was trying to go for the back pass off of the woodwork there, but unfortunately could not make it work, and will now have to work against the grain here as Cincinnati been pretty dominant in this offense so far. Idaho hasn't really been able to get it out of their own half all too much, but El Blastito will be the first to make that pilgrimage. Will take a bit of a step back so this offensive cycle can get going, but beyond that, Idaho continuing to just try and push this narrative, keep this game close, and with 3:40 left on the clock, all the potential in the world to be able to do that.
And Zumi rattles the cages. Once again, the follow-up touch from Frick is going to go ahead and find its way through. Nice follow-up touch, but the pressure, once again, just from University of Cincinnati, just ultimately just too overwhelming right there for Idaho to kind of get a decent clear. I feel like that's what they're lacking right now, Tenrick, is just a decent clear, a decent touch to kind of take this one away from the University of Cincinnati, and basically it's going to turn the tides of the defense here for Idaho. But, I mean, now they have the card stacked against them, 3:30 remaining in this ball game, and it's already 2-0.
They've really got to get out of their own spot, and they're just struggling to so much. Idaho really getting controlled, corralled in all the right ways. Cincinnati drive over. Good attempt on the woodwork, but just not enough yet. Bury the demo to give Cincinnati the agency, but Idaho's actually taking a little more ground back this time. Blastito will get a little bit of airtime here, but Cincinnati can just back pass to the cycle. Here comes the approach, back to the corner. Idaho continuing to play for that slow game. That's a boom that we've been looking for a good portion of the game so far. Able to get a little more space here. Let's see what they can do with it.
I mean, so far, just, you know, like they've responded pretty well. Idaho did. They kept a lot of this pressure right back towards that midfield line. But basically, ultimately, what's going on right now is just, you know, Cincinnati not really being too aggressive so far. They're just trying to establish this midfield presence and just kind of, you know, play keep away at the same time. The clock is the thing that's working against Idaho right now. It's not really been too, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's playing a factor, but at the same time, you know, it's not really too detrimental to their offense or defense just yet. But that clock is indeed ticking as we approach the 2-minute mark. Cincinnati is knocking on the door. Barry has a shot, going to be saved away by Blastido once again. But once again, the pressure just from the corner, Zumi is definitely going to go ahead and, you know, keep the pressure on. But, you know, for how long? There's just no respectable shots coming out of Idaho. Cincinnati's just having a good time out here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great neutrality, which is a good way to show that you have the mechanics, which Idaho certainly does. But what can you do with it? Idaho isn't really able to do too much at all, and Cincinnati has been able to connect because of it. Idaho having to just sort of flail in the water a lot of this game. And again, great interaction starting to show. Good amount of space made. But like you said, Whoops, no connection, no shots, and also just still not enough time left in this game at this point. Potentially here is it is a 3-0. Idaho are, yeah, this game might just be done here as Zumi is able to find a fourth. Cincinnati, resounding dominance over the game, despite how long Idaho can wrench it from their grasp.
Top of that as well, you know, Jock O'Brien basically was just changing his controllers and his batteries, or something was going on the pitch for him. Like you said, maybe just even conceding at that point in time, but you can't give up. It's a minute and 35 left. You kind of have to start to maybe, you know, get things kick-started going into game number 2. You know, this one's already in the books, essentially, with 4-0, especially with how, you know, Cincinnati has been playing. So, I mean, maybe at this point in time, Idaho just kind of starts to try to get something to build towards next game, because, you know, Cincinnati just has been nonstop the whole entire time since this thing has pretty much kicked off. And as you can see on the offensive end over here for Idaho, they just really haven't had, I think, any shots respectable for Cincinnati to even save them away. They might even have 0 registered as far as the team goes, as far as total shots go. So under 60 seconds to go here. Cincinnati now just trying to pretty much stall off the clock, it looks like. Break off the back wall, going to pop this one back towards midfield. Blastido going to pay the ultimate price, get demoed in the process. But still, Cincinnati just in total control.
And Idaho, like you said, not enough time this game for sure. They're not going to be able to dig themselves out. All they can do is look for options, and there is one. As Frick lobs a slow shot outside of the goal for Cincinnati's 5th. I mean, their ability to just consistently get in front of this goal is so impressive. And their ability to connect on top of that is something that Idaho simply is not brought to the table here.
Yeah.
As, I mean, we expected the game, at least the first one, to go somewhat like this. Cincinnati can, you know, get ahead of things a little more quickly. They've had more experience in the league. They have a team with a little more experience in league play in general. And they have a team that has won against teams that are far better than Idaho's results have displayed so far. A 5-0 win, Cincinnati trying to drag it to 6. Idaho, once again, solid denial and 50s to make sure that it's reduced to 5, but it's still 5. Nonetheless, Cincinnati will be taking game 1.
I mean, it was a good showing from Cincinnati. Like I said before, look at the stats here for Idaho. Just absolutely no shots coming through at all. And then you have, you know, what is that, 15 shots in total for Cincinnati, and they were taking it light. You know, we knew that this is going to be a tough matchup right here for Idaho coming into this matchup, and they win the first game here, like you said, 5-0. But it just looked like such a dominant team. Like I said, they've been here before. They've been in this situation before. They, like you said, they played a lot better teams than what Idaho actually is. I mean, we're not taking anything away from Idaho. It's just, you know, this is the cards that are in front of them. They're stacked against you at this point in time. I mean, now is the point in time, in my personal opinion, to start taking some risks and, you know, start to try to get something going here for offense, because 0 shots is not going to cut it against a team like Cincinnati.
The scariest thing about the fact that Idaho took 0 shots is often when you see a scoreboard post-game and a team has not taken any shots, you get a little surprised, because a lot of the times you feel that there were at least some sorts of like hints of aggression. But that game, I mean, I think anybody could have guessed that Idaho didn't take any shots. It was very plain and obvious that Idaho could not get in front of that goal, and Cincinnati were able to take consistent advantage of that. Not a lot of space in between the games, but it could be enough of a slate wiped clean to get Idaho's mental right and at least give them a shot, a foot back in the door to maybe get a leg in this series. Again, coming off such a tough one in the previous week against North Dakota, the closest that they've come so far this semester to a W, and now up against this, again, sleeper titan, really, whoops you. I mean, this team does not get brought up, and yet they have some really solid results. Idaho was always bound to struggle here, but good long shot that Zumi is forced to save, and Cincinnati has been a bit cut down to start out this game too.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Cincinnati's just been, like I said, one of those teams who's just been prominent here in the, the college scene. I can think back to casting some of the, mainstream stuff for College Rocket League, and I remember, the Cincinnati being over there, just watching some of their games and just being impressed. And Barry puts a shot through, but Jocko Bryan saves that one away. So it's good defense right now from Ohio, ultimately being played. It's still a 0-0 ball game. At this point in time in game number 1, it was just getting really, really out of control. So, I mean, Idaho has definitely stepped up on the back end. Now, like we said, we need to see something on the offensive end. We need to see them get this ball, get a really good clear, because you can't get bullied like this on the goal line. Zumi's going to score. Cincinnati go up 1-0.
And the Camel's back has once again broken. It took a little longer, though. And it took a little more coordination from Cincinnati, because most of the time what's just been happening is Cincinnati finds a simple pass play once they get in the right area, and they're able to just take the shots because Idaho's defense just hasn't been up to snuff mechanically with Cincinnati. However, Idaho has been much more mechanically defiant in this game so far. They've been able to 50 more easily and earlier. They've been able to finagle more cleanly and force Cincinnati out of a lot more approaching opportunities, so they definitely had to switch it up a bit. And the rate at which Cincinnati is going to have to do that against Idaho is, again, going to be exponential. It's not just about how Cincinnati did in Game 1. It's going to be about how Cincinnati can do in this entire series going forward. And that is a great way to continue the trend, as Zumi will find theirs and Cincinnati's second after a beautiful boom has just gone unguarded.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things, like I said beforehand, what does Idaho have to lose at this point in time? You might as well overextend a tad bit on the offensive end, which is what happened there. And you just get caught, pretty much, like I said, overextending, being pushed up too far forward, and you have just a well-placed shot by Zumi that's going to catch you guys off guard. But you have to go for those. It's one of those, I like to compare it to hockey. You have to pull the goalie in this situation and try to, rattle the cages just a tad bit of Cincinnati, get in their heads a little bit. Maybe start to demo, as you see Frick picks up a demolition right there onto Blastito. Maybe start to demo this team a little bit, get them off of the field, do anything you possibly can to try to combat this high-pressure offense.
And Boofless is a player that's really solid at that denial. Has been subbed in for Weedles for this game, too, as Barry finds a chunker. And now Zumi going to try and contest at the corner. Good bounce back to the front stage, but Barry is unable to complete upon it. Blastito off the wall, back over to Frick. Boofless attempted touch, but it doesn't get there. It doesn't get them much. Idaho continuing to have to get out, but Cincinnati, the cycle is getting a little too powerful here. Barry off the backboard, not enough of an immediate follow-up there, and Idaho can once again get out. They have to make up this 2-goal lead, 120 seconds to do it, otherwise they will be sitting against match point.
And once again, Cincinnati's just taking everything slow. You see Jocko Bryan now picking up a demolition onto Barry at midfield. So I was going to say that should open up at least a little bit of opportunity right here for Idaho to maybe have a counterattack, maybe even start to do something here on the offensive end. But that one's just passed away. Zumi picks it up. A double commitment on the left-hand side for Idaho. Is it going to work out in their favor? A close shot right there from Boofles is going to be saved away from the defense of Cincinnati. I believe that was Frick, my apologies. We saved that one away at the nick of time. But still, Cincinnati still standing so tall. Almost 60 seconds left on the clock. Idaho's starting to build some sort of pressure, but Cincinnati just doesn't.
And we saw that in the previous game too, didn't we? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they have taken one or two now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple there.
Yeah, they're having a couple. You're right. Oh, there's one from Frick off the crossbar, but Boofless is able to follow it off that double tap. That was a great defense. But if Idaho is kept up here And that will do it. That will be game 2. Zumi back to midfield, over to Frick again for the distance. And this is just time being melted away on top of pressure. The double commit is not met by Barry, so Blastito finds another boom. But again, no cycle for Idaho to turn it into anything.
That's
and Cincinnati can just keep escaping with it. Attempted flip reset there from Zumi is going to bluff it out. Just take it downstairs. Again, more time wasted. Barry now again at the attempted dunk, and it's not met. Cincinnati 3-0.
Yeah, that was just pretty right here from Barry. He took his time. He was very patient. He even recovered very well off of that bump from the corner, and just the follow through from Barry just pretty much solidified that goal there. Just very, very patient is the best way I can kind of describe it. And like I said, that's just how Cincinnati can play. There's just no threat so far from Idaho. There's 10 seconds left though on the clock. Blastito does push this one over into the corner as well. Barry's going to clear that one towards the opposite end of the field. That should do it. As soon as this one hits the ground, Cincinnati is indeed going to move on to match point as they win this game number 2 in a 3-0 fashion.
That's a 10-minute goal drought for University of Idaho as well, but the shots were taken that time. Whoops, 4 total to be exact. So actually a lot more than I thought were taken at first there. So really big props to them. But Cincinnati, once again, taking the dub, and it's still a pretty clear victory. They just are on target a little more often, more consistent a little more often, and despite the ping diff that they're facing right now on those Western servers that Idaho is going to have to keep going to, they are still picking up steam.
Yeah, I even actually forgot about that as well. As I glance over towards the right side, look at the ping. It's like 80 ping versus 40 ping in comparison to Idaho. So literally half. Cincinnati is dealing with literally a half deficit of ping. And, it does make a little bit of a difference, in comparison from east to west. It really, really does. I had the privilege of playing with one of my friends from Australia the other day, and that's absolutely insane to see like a 200 ping over here as I usually play on the west servers. So, I mean, it just, what ping does is it just makes you delay your thought process just a tad bit. Maybe you don't get those 50-50s. Maybe you don't get some of those touches that you think you get as well. But Cincinnati is handling it very, very well.
Well, into game 3 we go. Cincinnati attempting to finish it out here and now. Sitting at the top of the key, but near the bottom of those standings in the top of the key. Cincinnati has really got to try and find a good game and point diff going into this playoff season. They're so close to finding a good way in. Currently the top-ranked 10-2 team, but with Seton and Arlington already a loss tacked on, they really want to play that good guard dog, get ahead in the other respects, as Cincinnati has dropped 7 games total. Meanwhile, Delaware and Tennessee, the former of which has an identical record, and the latter of which does as well, and we'll also see them play after this. 9 and 10 rounds dropped respectively, so Cincinnati a little bit ahead in that department, but certainly having another shutout on that record would do them well. And here's a way to start it out. Frick once again the opening goal, and Cincinnati is up within the first minute of game 3.
Yeah, this came from the initial pressure though from Barry, who brought that one up pretty much solo, drawed the defense out. The secondary touch as well from Zumi ultimately led to that goal for Frick. So all 3 members from Cincinnati getting involved in the aspect of the offense there for Cincinnati. But another close shot right there from Jocko Bryan as Idaho's trying to find their first goal. That one's going to cross. Oh my goodness. Weedless is going to score. I was just about to bring up an interesting stat here for Idaho as well. But look at this dunk play back as it easily just rolls past the defenders for Cincinnati. And that's their first goal, I believe, in 15 minutes. If you actually include that game that they played last week against North Dakota.
Yeah. It's been a while, and now the game's tied back up, and it almost is immediately reversed. Barry, the rushdown play. Frick is going to save it anyway, and Cincinnati strikes back with immediacy.
This just comes from that pressure and just smart gameplay as well. And then once again, Idaho struggling to get a clear on the offensive end. All 3 of those combined does not make the Powerpuff Girls. It makes a good goal for Cincinnati. And it really was a really good heads-up play from Cincinnati to just turn on the ball. A lot of players like to get into that habit of rotating back, as you see Boofless trying to put a shot and equalize the game right back, but Frick is going to save that one away and take those hopes and dreams away. But 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Idaho showing some signs of life here.
One for these off-kilter angles is what has suited Idaho best. Cincinnati has not seen a lot of these bluffs coming. Good cue there for Cincinnati to find the distance. Barry unable to follow it, though. Weedles grabs it out. Zumi will keep it in the corner, and Cincinnati will attempt to continue corralling this, but it's another great boom by Booflis, who has stayed in the game. Weedles is subbed in still, though, and is playing goalkeeper here for Zumi's approach. There's the offensive cycle again, and Booflis once again interrupts. Zumi unable to find a bump or demo, and Jocko and Weedles can out double commit to this defense. Idaho looking more stable than ever, and now with one on the board, they have set a precedent for how they can perform in the rest of this series. They have 2.5 minutes, plenty of time to tie things back up.
And they're definitely, like I said, the play style is a little bit different. Like maybe like a little bit more confidence or something's happening, but not a save is what's going to happen here for Idaho. Cincinnati going to cross the finish line again with another goal, puts them up by 2 now.
And that is a hat trick for Frick as well.
Wow. 3 goals in this game here for Frick. Zumi was actually popping off the last couple games as well. So, I mean, he still hasn't really made his presence known just yet. As I say that, wins a kickoff and puts a shot towards net, but ultimately going to be saved away by Idaho. So, like you said, Idaho looking pretty decent so far. The play style has changed, though. We did see Wheatless, like I said, spark some life, or maybe they're a little bit more confident on the offensive end with Wheatless here on the pitch. Whatever it is, Idaho definitely needs to capitalize on it.
Oh, wow, what a bump up to waste that time. Frick doesn't intercept, but Zumi is able to. Jacques Ryan keeps it in the corner, though, and Idaho has actually cleared a little bit of a path, but Frick, oh, great catch there for Weedles to have to go for the boom so Barry can easily chunk it back through. 105 seconds to go. Cincinnati still holding on to this lead. It will not be a shutout, but in Cincinnati's eyes, it can be as close as possible to it as long as they keep this sturdy. Zumi, good flip to get the extra tap from Barry again. Time wasted. 90 seconds, and Barry clears to the other corner, but Jocko is laying in wait, and Idaho has a little bit of ground back.
Yeah, they're looking really good as well. Like this pressure. Now Cincinnati has to kind of change up their play style just a tad bit. You see Zumi trying to get himself on the board as well, trying to pop off with a solo play, but this is just an easy interception right here for Frick. It should not happen. Can he replicate another goal from the ceiling shot? Cannot. Barry, though, going to clean this shot up on the back end, shoot this one just out the reach of the defenders here of Idaho, and put them up by 3. So, I mean, it's a little deflating. I can say the best way we can kind of describe this one. You've seen a little spark of life right here for Idaho, and then all of a sudden, just an easy takeaway leads to a transition goal in favor of Cincinnati.
Better and better touches over the course of this match. As Idaho has leveled up, Cincinnati has done so in tandem and is looking to find an even better lead than they did in game number 2. They could do it if they are awarded another within these 60. Idaho attempting to deny that. They still want to have a place in this series, and 3 goals in 45 seconds is certainly not unheard of, but with the way that Cincinnati's been dominating this series, it is unlikely. Booflis is going to try to make the impossible possible, though almost gets it on target, but unfortunately has to retreat along with the rest of UI. That's already a lot of time wasted, and Cincinnati is just going to play with their food on that next approach. They'll try and keep it here for 25.
Final 25 seconds. Potentially in this series, I would say confidently in this series right here for Cincinnati. Booflis trying to get the redirect. Close one, but no cigar. Can be popped right back into the corner. Weedless still keeping with the pressure. That's a good takeaway right there. Frick has to be careful. Saves that one away. Nice little shot back towards the net. It's going to be Boofles, but ultimately not enough time on the clock. All zeros now. Almost another goal to walk away with from home. That was Frick trying to hunt for another goal there, but Cincinnati going to win this one in a sweeping fashion, and 3-0 as well.
It's about what we expected, but as always, we also saw what we expected out of Idaho, which is nothing but improvement over the course of a series, and some great prospects for them going forward. Perhaps not in this semester, but the next season going forward. They still got a lot of life in them, and I absolutely believe that they have a lot more to show than what they brought today. But Cincinnati, as always, on fire, and they will tack another W to their already very proficient record. This is a team that is going to be a powerhouse when playoffs come knocking, which they will in just a couple short weeks. So certainly a lot for Cincinnati to prepare for. We may or may not have an interview with them. If not, then we'll be back in just a couple minutes anyway to have our next game on the block. Either way, stay tuned.
Hi.
Oh man. All right, hey guys, we're back with EGFC Season 4 Rocket League. I'm Tenrek. With me still whoops you. We're about to jump into. Sorry, we're about to jump into University of Tennessee taking on University of Southern California. Tennessee, a team that is around the upper echelon right now. I believe they are 10-2. Meanwhile, University of Southern California, pretty favorable record, but still trying to break into that upper echelon. Now, whoops you, I know that you are not necessarily all that familiar with EGFC Rocket League, but I know that you are pretty familiar with Collegiate Rocket League in general to a pretty solid extent. So I would like to ask you this question. In a season, in a league that has a lot of players that are just entering an esports scene, you know, this collegiate experience, maybe their first time on a team, their first time in a really competitive area. I would ask you, what is this? What is a general tip that you can take from a space like CRL that any player in EGFC could apply to their gameplay right now?
Tough question, and I want you to repeat it because I had literally blacked out.
You're so fine. You're so cool. No, I worded it very poorly. Is there a tip that you could take from a CRL perspective that you could apply to any EGFC player that they could integrate into their gameplay right now? And what would that be?
100%. You have to know if you're going to play college Rocket League that East is just better than West. It's just everybody knows it. Everybody knows East is where you have to go if you're going to play college Rocket League. Okay, so if you're over here on the West, I'm sorry, Southern California, you know, Tennessee. I mean, it varies. It depends, you know, but that's just icing on the cake. East is better than West.
Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and just die on that hill as well. But no, I'm just messing around. If there's something that you want to do, it's I think the biggest thing you could kind of do though is just move to the east. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm seriously done this
words
time.
In your EGFC debut.
Yeah,
you're
for sure.
You're really towing the line here. I mean, true, but we don't talk about it around USC, which is a team that is proven to be favorable already, which is proven to be able to break into to break that status quo for sure. But Tennessee is such a tough opponent to have to get in order to continue breaking that status quo. I mean, this UTK squad has been breaking so much out this season. They've been doing so much work to get where they are, and it is entirely deserved. I cannot wait to see them in the postseason when they go against these other division teams. Really impressive stuff. But USC, again, tough opponent for sure. They'll be taking the orange side while UTK handles the blue, and we enter game number 1.
I mean, yeah, like we talked about before. I mean, I think there's a ping differential in this server as well because, I mean, they are playing over on the California servers, so on the West servers as well, as I believe. But, you know, California, you know, USC going to take full-on advantage of this situation right now. Or Tennessee, they're going to get scored on first, and California goes up first. But, I mean, still, early on into this matchup, anything can happen. Still 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. So, I mean, UTK just needs to come back, start to build some of this pressure from themselves, and start to bring the ball back over to the opposite end of the field before they get scored on again. It's going to be pretty crazy.
I think we might actually be playing on Eastern servers for this first game, which makes that goal from USC to start things out all the more impressive. But it's something that we tend to expect coming out of USC. It's that very, very quick lethality that they've been able to escape a lot of games with. That is their MO, but it can become more readable as time goes on. And when it comes to longevity, a lot of these other teams that are a little higher up in the standings tend to have it a bit better. They're a little more consistent. They're a little more mechanical. They're a little more able to manage themselves post kickoff and pre-attack. UTK, the in between is looking really solid. But the in between needs the work. But if you have those moments of volatility and you're able to springboard off of them, then USC can certainly get a lot of work done. But UTK dominating this attack for the past minute or so. They will eventually find the goal and tie things up.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You know, you hit the nail right on the head once again, Ten. Basically, you just start to suffocate the defense. Eventually, something starts to open up, especially if you start to control the boost as well. I mean, it just starts to leave you very little resources in order to kind of get a far clear, a booming clear as well.
Oh.
But it's not going to deter USC from another goal here. VTR actually going to score off of the kickoff, and that's courtesy of Squid winning that 50-50 as well.
And Hermes second-guessing the touch in order to counter things. USC able to score off of that, maintain this lead for a little bit longer. As there's now 3.5 minutes to go. UTK, no real way to break out just yet. Remind you guys, once again, it is loser's pick for servers going out of this game. So starting here on Eastern servers, if USC does take this L, which UTK is trying to get done, then we'll switch over to the Western side, as Hermes is able to make up for that previous miss with a great babysit all the way over to the longer end of the goal. Unable to reach it as USC, and we are tied back up at 2.
I mean, just a good showing right there at the resilience that UTK has. You know, to come back and score a goal like it just didn't even phase them. That just goes to show you how tough this team really is, and they go right back to work as well. You see USC trying to play a little bit of off-ball strategy, trying to maybe keep the offense guessing here for UTK as they're trying to just get this ball off of their half, off of the danger zone as well. You see UTK just dealing with that pressure, taking things slow, being very methodical. And on top of that, just capitalizing on mistakes that the defense gives them. Hermes, his case in point, exclamation point.
And Tennessee finally taking the lead. Mikey, great grab out of there to get that ball, that extra velocity in order to finish off the goal. UTK finally up here, attempting to take some more space, been controlling the attack for the lion's share of the game, but Southern California has found a lot of great ways to break out, and again, that's what we expected. These two teams rife in the standings, a lot to expect from both of them. No idea which way the series will go. I don't expect a shutout, although if there was one, that would mean miles for either of these teams, as Tennessee is trying to get a better record within that level of standing that they already have with their match record. They want that extra leg up in games and by extension goals. And in the meantime, USC, every little bit counts on their way up to that top 10 area, which they have already glazed for a while now here in EGF. 2 minutes to go. USC back in their own corner. Trimmy, not too much speed behind it, and Hermes will give it that extra boost, but Mikey cannot put a full stopper on it, so this cycle is a little bit interrupted. That doesn't mean that UTK's fully lost it. In fact, Mikey gets it back off the woodwork, and Trimmy is able to nudge it into the crossbar, but not enough to score again and give UTK, for the first time all game, a 2-goal lead. They'll have to settle with the 1 and still another try at the attack. As UTK continues to take midfield here, 90 seconds to go, and USC still stuck inside. Tennessee leveling up a lot more over the course of this game. And Southern California is starting to not be able to match up measure for measure for each of those interactions. Trimmy to Mikey, intercepted by Rebel, who will take it back across midfield, gain some airtime, tries to send it to VTR, but USC is still a little too compacted. Another 51, and Rebel finds a demo. This could be an open net, but Rebel has to drag it over to Squid to find the shot, but there's too much momentum behind the pass. They have to save it back again, and that leaves time for Trimmy to grab it as well. And Trimmy back over to VTR, across the woodwork. Squid tries to demo and will succeed, but USC still have to find the goal, and now only 45 seconds to do it. Rebel, another drag. Mikey misses out. Squid not in the right spot. VTR not either, and Trimmy breaks away. UTK safe for now.
That's a huge defensive stance right there for USC, or I'm sorry, for UTK. USC was on the offense, trying to get something going there. Couldn't quite get it, though. Trying to find the equalizer as well with short time, so that pressure just ultimately working against them, just like the clock is now. 20 seconds left. Squid at midfield. Nice fake, if that was truly a fake, if not a miss. That was popped away to the right-hand side from Hermes. Rebel now trying to get the wraparound pass, maybe a pass over towards Squid. This should be the last attempt here for USC to tie this one up. A nice downward pass to Squid. That was going to be denied, though, from UTK's defense. Rebel, 0 seconds on the clock, has to keep this one up. Does a very good job. A boom towards the other end of the field. VTR missing contact. That one's going to hit the ground, and Tennessee's going to hang on 3-2 and win game number 1.
Not enough space there in the end, but USC got pretty close by that point. Even still, Tennessee were the ones dominating the attack. 11 shots to 3 by the end of that game. And I mean, in that last minute and a half, although California were able to get a lot of opportunities, when Tennessee broke out, they were immediately on top of that goal again. The offensive opportunities just come to them a little more quickly, and they did play a little bit better in that first game, awarding them that first victory here. But it is not going to be smooth sailing. We've already seen that much so far here going into game number 2. USC has a lot of tricks up their sleeve that I'm excited to see if they're able to pull out before the end of the match.
Only that, but at the same time, you have a lot of offensive pressure that was being generated. Okay, I mean, a ton of shots that just worked out in their favor ultimately, and that just kept the defense, at bay for Southern California. So I mean, if you're USC here, you have to find a way to escape and get past that midfield line, keep the pressure back onto the UTK defense, and just ultimately take away those opportunities that they have on the offensive end. That's going to result in less goals for UTK. It's going to result in just more goals for you because you're controlling the pace of play, you're controlling the pace of the game as well, and on top of that, you're taking more shots and more respectable shots as well. So, I mean, we are going to have our server change too over back towards the west side of the field now because Tennessee did lose that matchup. So we were on East servers. My apologies. Southern California lost that matchup. Tennessee had the favor on the East servers, is what I was trying to say. So now we're hopping back over towards the West servers. So what can you kind of see? Who's going to win this matchup now, 10?
And we'll see if the ping diff matters enough here in this second game. As in the previous one, USC did have about double the ping of Tennessee. Tennessee had between 25 and 50. California had between 65 and 85.
Yeah.
So definitely a difference there, but will it be enough to make up that goal difference in game? USC already having a lot better time with this post kickoff, but that's just based off of the momentum from the interactions. Eventually, UTK is going to be able to get this boost back, and with another unfortunate miss, USC loses a lot of ground. Rebel, good take, and Squid almost brings it back. VTR, the third player, and USC will score first here in game number 2.
I think they scored first in game number 1 as well, but it just came down to, ultimately UTK, fighting back, tying the ball game right back up, and then ultimately taking the lead away from them too. But it's a good team play right here for USC, and a huge mistake as well on the defensive end of UTK. So, I mean, both of those things kind of led to this goal here for USC. So we have to see better defense, better offense from both sides of the pitch, regardless. This is probably a coin flip, in my personal opinion, and I think it's going to come down to server advantage. USC is looking very, very strong, very dominant as well. As I say that and caster curse them, we're going to see an own goal here in favor of UTK for the equalizer.
And that is just a really unfortunate goal there. Is Squid bumped through by Mikey to get that unfortunate tap in. Bit of a traffic jam in front of the goal. That's the kind of chaos that UTK wanted to create in order to get that pressure back, and get it they have. We are tied back up here with 3:50 to go. USC attempting to escape their own half again. Tennessee taking almost quadruple the shots that Southern California did in that first game. But of course, again, those servers certainly make a difference. In Southern California, you can already tell they have a lot more agency. They're a lot more reactive here. They're taking a couple more chances, and it's leading to some more misses, but it's also missing to a lot more calculated risks that have ended up in their favor. A lot more 50s that they're willing to bargain for, avoiding a lot of demos and creating a lot of pressure to get demos themselves. That could exponentially lead their way to a really solid rest of this game, as long as they don't have any more unfortunate mistakes like the one that was able to get UTK back in this game.
I do like the thought process, though, on USC on this offensive attempt that they had. You saw the pretty much the pass from the left side. I think that was Squid. Passing that one towards the midfield to Rebel. Now you see Hermes trying to take that possession away. Look at the interception. This shot is going to go ahead and find its mark as well. That's Mikey from the corner. Going to take the lead now. UTK up by 1. But I do like the decision-making that USC was doing before this. It was just easily readable, and they went right back to it as well, which is a no-no pretty much for the offense.
Tennessee really jumping the gun. VTR did not expect Hermes to be so close, or UTK to be so close, excuse me.
Yeah.
As Trimmy is going to make another run for it. VTR able to stop it at first, but UTK already grabbing this pressure post-kickoff. That is massive for the clock and the potential to find a 2-goal lead here, as USC needs to get something going. That is certainly something. VTR attempted double tap off the backboard after a beautiful clear, but barely saved in time, and now the demo from Hermes leads to UTK maybe being able to get back out of this as long as Mikey can boom it. Yes, they can, but Rebel is back in time, and we enter the halfway point in game number 2 with both sides taking these pot shots post-kickoff, but Tennessee starting to find themselves in a couple more open situations where they are far more vulnerable. USC leading them to those opportunities, but Tennessee striking right back. Good attempt at the shot, leads to the double commit, but it was double committed by Tennessee as well, so no progress gained on either front. Just a little bit more time burned off the clock as USC once again unable to connect fully onto the goal in that particular circumstance.
Wow.
And Hermes can just bring it right back along with the rest of Tennessee and complete again. 3-1 now.
Yeah, this was just a broke play right here for USC. They looked so good on the offensive end, but at the same time, they over pursued. You had Squid, who came up and started cheating, and ultimately I can't remember who that was in the offensive end for USC. He just could not recover fast enough on the rotation back through for USC, and then Trimmy from the left side just pops that one right back towards dangerous territory, which is in the middle of the net. UTK definitely capitalized on that play. And ultimately, both of these teams are looking really, really good. UTK looking just a tad bit better, going for a little bit of a mixed-up style offense. They are using 1-2-3 passing plays, but their communication is what's separating these two teams. It looks like, Hermes at one point in time passes the ball off to Trimmy, and basically, they're just in sync, almost, I would just say in unison, just doing it perfectly, passing the ball off to one another. They look really, really good.
Tennessee is looking better enough to not give USC a chance to find a game.
Exactly.
USC can certainly score on Tennessee. We know that much. We've seen that much, of course, over the course of this match. Excuse me. But yeah, Tennessee is starting to get really good at this overt suppression of USC's actual chances to find games themselves. Just playing that long game so beautifully. Mikey will not find the tap off the woodwork, but again, just time burned away again and again, and USC unable to conjure any opportunities outside of a lot of these passes and these booms, which have been so amazing, especially in this particular game. But just interruption after interruption, UTK, again, playing for keeps, playing the long way, and with this much of a cushion, with this little time left, that will work. USC really need to pop off in these next seconds in order to find a goal, and with every passing opportunity that is gone again and again. Squid followed by Hermes. Hermes dragging it back over to midfield. Rebel, the early bounce up. Trimmy, a touch that will leave VTR able to bring it back up, but Trimmy can meet it beforehand. No, Rebel brings it back over the backboard, but by that point, the clock has run its course. 2 goals cannot be found. Now UTK will take the guaranteed dub and almost stack a 3rd goal worth of a lead on top of it off rip. Still going to search for it real quick as Rebel cannot kill it immediately here. Trimmy here back to the backboard and nobody free from UTK, but it matters not. A 3-1 win for Tennessee, and we are at match point.
Yeah, another potential sweep in our future here, Tenric, as like you said, UTK on match point. And I'm going to say something here. I mean, they look really, really good. Both teams really do. But ultimately, there's a lot left on the table for UTK. If you think back, there was like several opportunities. I want to say 3, at least 4, maybe, for UTK where they had an open net opportunity and they just did not capitalize on it. That's the stuff that's going to hold them back from being the best team that they possibly can be, especially since, Southern California, they really had a lot of over pursuits on the offensive end and on the defensive end as well, which left that back door wide open right there for Tennessee, and they just did not capitalize on it. You can think back to that one from Mikey, who just had to pretty much tap that one in, and nobody was back, for Southern California, and basically he shoots it too far to the left side, has to turn into a passing play, and they just miss. So, I mean, Tennessee just hasn't reached their peak just yet. We're going to see if they can hit their peak here in game number 3 as this one starts. USC does still have a huge potential, but it's not going to be pretty as UTK is going to start this one out in front.
Tennessee strikes me as something akin to like a boss from The Legend of Zelda, because you always know where you have to hit them. Like, their weakness is always really obvious, and yet they can still be so insanely difficult to get past. They can be so hard to beat. That is UTK to me, because like you said, their weaknesses are really gaping. They leave open nets a lot of times. Their volatility is very, very clear when it comes to things, and VTR opening things very wide post kickoff here in the second attempt after UTK finds that early goal as well. Within 8 seconds, we have a tied game again, but it is with 1 goal on either side. My goodness.
I want to say this as well. If you think back to game 1 and game 2, USC scored first in both of those games. This time, UTK scores first, and then the equalizer is scored relatively quickly for USC. So, I mean, if this stays true, if this stat stays true, theoretically, USC should win this game because the first team to score actually loses.
It's true. We go to game 5 overtime now. It goes for 12 minutes, and it's the best match ever.
Are you leaking the script right now?
My bad.
That's page 6. We're on page 4.
Sorry, I can't. I love reading ahead. I'm so invested in the characters.
Should have did that on your off time, because now we are live and now we have to act like we don't know what's going on. Okay, as we have a routine save right here at the
Wait,
4-minute and
we're
12-second mark. Wait, what?
This is being streamed?
Wait, where are we right now?
No one ever told me that.
Anyway.
Oh, big pinch. That's VTR's second this game.
Now I was gonna say VTR almost right on cue at the 4-minute mark. Just a huge dunk. And that's another thing as well that I noticed from UTK. They win a majority of these 50-50s. If USC can start winning these 50-50s as well, things are going to start to go their way. And that's just, you know, case in point. Basically, USC wins the 50-50 challenge. It goes inside the net, luckily. But at the same time, a lot of the possession that gets set up for UTK is started by 50-50s.
Rebel rush down here. USC took more shots last game. And also, we are still on those Western servers where members of UNC had as low as 8 ping.
Yeah, that's insane.
While Tennessee between 70 and 80 ping that previous game. So at max 10 times the delay here for you. Another time, not even for the first time, because they've been here over and over again. They are down by 1, but it hasn't been for this long a stretch, and it hasn't been this late in the offensive repertoire of either side. UTK may have the read on them, but USC read like a book there as Trimmy able to find the goal off of Hermes' tap.
Yeah, that just comes off the rotation from USC. You saw 2 members right there. I believe it was Squid and Rebel just full committing to the offensive segment. BTR missing the clear over into the corner. Hermes takes full on advantage of it as well. Trimmy just turns a routine play into the equalizer. Now we have Mikey setting up Trimmy once again with a huge pass and a takeaway as well. UTK take the lead.
A hattie for Trimmy this game, and now UTK back in the lead, a comfortable position yet again. That's that volatility we speak of when we talk about University of Tennessee. When allowed to roam, they will absolutely trample. 2:52 still to go, though, and USC, they know how to beat Tennessee. It is plain as day. The hard part is actually doing it. BTR back from midfield. Hermes blocks it through. Neutral being played to an extent by both sides. Squid missing. BTR stealing it back after UTK goes for the double. Hermes meets them halfway, and so USC is forced to go for the cycle. Brought through by Rebel. Trimmy intercepts. Squid ready to back pass it to VTR in the corner, but nobody fully there, so Trimmy can take it forward. And UTK slowly but surely gaining space. That's a reset on it, though. And Mikey forced to watch.
Yeah, VTR brings this one up. Mikey with a huge pass. Nobody there for the first initial contact. Rebel, though, on the far side. The overextension pays off for USC, and they score this one to tie it right back up. And that's just a huge play from VTR, a smart play as well, because it was like a 2v1 situation that UTK was stuck in. I think that was Mikey, the last person back for UTK. The USC take full-on advantage of that, and they tie it right back up. Rebel now at midfield trying to go right back to work to take this lead back that they had at the start of this ball game. But slowly but surely, UTK fought their way back. Hermes has other plans, though. The solo pop-off play from Hermes is going to give them the lead right back.
And now both teams have scored the most goals in any game this series so far. USC topping their record of 2, and UTK beating the record of 3 that they had in the previous 2 games. Both sides just kind of making it a shootout here in the tail end of this game. USC willing to take them to that front, thinking that they could maybe beat them there if they continue having those desperation plays with the triple commits. And to their credit, that could work against UTK with a team like USC, who is as consistent on an offense when allowed to roam as both these sides are. I am totally down for that competition in order for USC to still have a chance in this series. But UTK, as long as they still vie for control, which they're able to do, and find the open net a little more often, that this match will be theirs. But Mikey fumbles a little bit too much. Not a convenient enough angle off the boom, and instead, UTK just having to settle for time and control. Trimmy back up again. Good 50 by Squid to keep this thing rolling and maybe let this cycle commence for USC. Indeed it will.
Yeah, that was dangerous territory right there for USC. They were like literally zero boost and boost starved as well. You saw UTK, which was controlling the corner boost, the 100 pads, and they were just suffocating. But USC somehow survived the onslaught of shots and just a mismatch on defense as well. Now they're stuck right back on the defensive end, and this has just been the story the whole entire time between both of these teams. UTK has just been putting shot after shot, keeping so much pressure onto the backs of USC so far, and they have not been letting up, and it's been paying off for them. They're winning 4-3, 30 seconds left on match point.
This is how Tennessee needed to play going into this series. It's how Southern California needed to counter it, so it could just come down to who was that better team. And UTK, 17 seconds away from proving it today. It is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, them. 10 to go. Mikey's still in the corner. USC, a lot of work to do to keep this series alive. VTR, airplay, Rebel keeps it up. VTR, big boom. No one's going to be in the corner, though, and that will be the series. No! Off the curb. Afforded a second opportunity. Trimmy the kill. Rebel to follow, and still not able to keep it going. Tennessee, indeed, will have the shutout in the series of 3-0.
Yeah, a little bit of a panic right there at the 0-second mark from Rebel, who just let that one hit the ground, ultimately giving Tennessee that win. He was trying to pass it off as well, but, you know, the threatening positioning right there from, I believe that was Mikey from UTK, ultimately led to that one hitting the ground. But a good showing. I mean, honestly, I thought that this one was going to be a little bit closer. I thought it was going to be more of a coin flip, like back and forth, and the ping advantage was really going to work in favor of, USC, but at the same time, Tennessee, we talked about it. They're just they're a really, really good team on the up and up. And they took full on advantage of all the mistakes that USC pretty much gave them and ran away with them. And like I said, with the ping differential too.
Yeah, definitely a really solid display coming out from Tennessee today. Southern California is still a great team. We know what they're good at. We saw them use what they were good at. But yeah, Tennessee really just outshone them today. We'll get a chance to speak with them in just a second after this short break. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? We are back again with EGFC 4. I'm Tenrek. With me is still Whoops You, and hitting us up is Mikey from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Mikey, I see you still got Ari behind you. Was she cheering you on a lot tonight, or was it just, the same old, just like she was watching you and you were just killing it?
Yeah, I'd say she was kind of quiet, just like with like the West Coast ping. She was unfamiliar with that. So besides that, it was a pretty quiet series from her.
Bro, so much West Coast hate today. I'm losing
Yeah,
it.
it really
It's
is.
crazy.
East Coast is the best coast. Am I right, Mikey?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. No, but hey, first and foremost, congratulations. You guys absolutely killed it out there. You guys dominated 3-0 win, over Southern California. But I mean, what kind of preparation work went into this week? Were you just a little bit worried, or were you just like, those guys are around the West? There's no competition,
I always come in just like winning the win regardless. I didn't do any research on the team. I just came up winning the win. I think one of our teammates did do research. They have like a slightly worse record than us, but they're still like pretty good in standing. So like we knew that they were a good team. So we came out, ready to play, and we did.
Yeah.
Well, going forward with that, Mikey, 2 of the 3 teams that you guys have to face over the rest of the regular season are the 2 teams that currently have identical game records to yours. The other 10-2 teams right now are Cincinnati and Delaware. Of course, Cincinnati is now 11-2 after their game that they just had. Delaware, I don't know how they're going to do, but these are 2 teams that are right in that same position around the top. Okay, I'm just getting word that Delaware did also have a win. So all 11-2 teams right now going into this final 3-week stretch. Do you think Tennessee is the best of them right now? Do you think Tennessee will be a top 4 team by the end of this season?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm not stressed about it whatsoever. We're not stressed. We're always coming out playing our best.
Good to hear. Well, I can't wait to see it next week. Until then, anybody you want to shout out? Floor is yours.
Yeah, shout out to the boys in the gaming lab there at UT. Shout out to Ari for being here. Shout out to my mom. She's not listening, but shout out to her, and shout out to you guys, casters, for doing this every single week.
Well, thanks
Thank
as
you,
always for hopping on, Mikey. Best of luck next week. We'll see you then, man.
All right, thank you guys.
Alrighty, and with that, Whoops, you and I are going to take a step away from the stream tonight. Soy and Bull Skunk are going to take you guys through, I believe, the rest of the night over here on Official EGF. While we're here as well, if you have another tab, make sure to pull up the EGF Rocket League stream too. They still have some games going on until 10:15 p.m. EST. Right after us, coming up, we got Xavier University taking on Marquette University. You're not going to want to miss it. Take care.
And we are back to continue through our Wednesday of Awesome. My name is Jeff. I've got Soy here now as we are ready to take you through the rest of our evening. 3 more games remaining here on Official EGF. Coming up next, we've got Xavier taking on Marquette. Xavier looking to make a stamp there in the Big East.
Yeah, a big in-conference rivalry about to take place here. It should be a fun one. Xavier, one of these teams that's really looking to try and get back into that postseason run. They're a team that's always been, around that bubble, around that, cutoff for the postseason. They missed it last year. They're trying to get back this year.
Yeah, that was so close. Oh, so close. So they've got some more conference matchups. This is a Big East matchup here, taking on Marquette, and they've got a couple more of those in the wing. We're in weeks 13 to 16 for the overall season, so 3 games remaining after today. And I mean, it's gonna be a heck of a push there for Xavier here at the end. Marquette have come in struggling a little bit. They're 2-10 on this season, so we got to give Xavier the edge here, just from records and performance that we've seen thus far. But it's still not going to be anything. It's not going to be a cakewalk here, Soy. Marquette, you still got to respect them.
Marquette are a solid squad. And I think one of the biggest things about Marquette, stylistically, that we've seen from them in the past is that they kind of need that player to facilitate this offense, and they haven't been able to find it. And here, Xavier getting off on a strong start here. Kickoff goal early. Galaxy wins it. Confused Irish, the speed to win the race to the ball and put the first one on the board.
A risky bet that pays off for Xavier with a 2-second goal to cheat up on the kickoff. Works just like you drew it up. And Xavier, they didn't want that 0 in their score line. Let's just start them off here. Give Marquette a bit of a handicap. Galaxy out of the corner, seeing if they can double this lead, and will do so. Galaxy finds the tight angle to increase that score to 2.
Yeah, Galaxy here, just with the touch along the wall, like you said, that's basically from goal line extended, and they're able to sneak that one around. And again, Marquette defender in the right spot, but just can't quite get a read on that ball, can't get their car back and repositioned in order to get in front of it. And because of that, Xavier take that 2-goal lead. They're looking to make it 3. It's off the backboard. They don't find the bump onto Red Hawk, and they'll be able to clear it momentarily. But the pressure is on here for Xavier. They continue to push this ball into the orange half.
Yeah, Marquette struggling to escape their own zone right now. C-Jack's touch is going to fall a little flat. Galaxy's able to push it all the way back down. Xavier patient on this attack as it's Cappy coming in, otherwise known as Valor. This is the captain of this squad, the leading scorer of this squad. Don't let the name change fool you. This is the Xavier that we have grown to know and love. With a 2-goal lead over Marquette. Looking to extend it. Confused Irish comes around. Past to Valor. It's blocked by Confused Irish.
Oh, such an unfortunate sequence, because Confused Irish did everything right in that sequence to get that ball forced out mid. The problem is he also blocks the shooting lane in the process, and so Marquette, they dodge a bullet there. Good save by, I believe that was Rice making the save, a new member for the side of Marquette, being able to get into the action here on the breakout of all cars. But Galaxy looking to bury a third, sends it too high. The rebound is off the post, and Red Hawk will get that ball away.
Uh-oh. Cappy, we'll call that a back pass. And, you know, we were talking, you mentioned that Marquette's still kind of looking for somebody to kind of lead this offense as we watch Valor come in with a goal. Now everybody from Xavier has a tally in that score column. But back to what I was saying, you know, we've got a new player here on the pitch for Marquette in R11C3. We are assuming that is pronounced Rice. We're just going to roll with that until we hear otherwise. And assuming this isn't just a name change, it's still bringing in its fresh blood here for Marquette to try to see if they can build that offensive pressure. Right now, they haven't had to worry about that as much as they can't seem to even escape their zone. Confused Irish comes in for goal number 4.
Pass this was to Confused Irish. Look at this. Cappy goes on the air dribble here, and C-Jack seems like a decent play, but Galaxy, look at that pass. Perfectly set up, and Confused Irish with just a bullet into the back of the net to bury the 4th goal for the side of Xavier in this duel. And still 3 minutes on the clock here. And Marquette, their defense, they've got a pretty solid defense this season. Numerous games where they've had to make a sequence of saves just back and forth. The problem is their offense just hasn't really had time to, you know, go to work. They're constantly on the back foot. But that being said, they have had some offensive opportunities, just not in this game so far. Maybe they can change the pace here and find something, but first they got to break out of their own half.
That is the trick right now. Confused Irish just kind of dancing around it, and Xavier has been playing very far up. They've got a lot of confidence in this offense. Galaxy was holding midfield line on that one. Previous attack, Galaxy had cheated all the way up to the net to score that 4th goal, or at least to get the assist in that 4th goal, to be more specific. And it just shows how much they believe in themselves and their ability to control this pace, control the ball. Valor with the back pass. This one definitely calculated over to Galaxy, who will find the clear, takes to the skies, drop back down to Confused Irish, and nobody hits it.
Cappy will retreat here, going towards their own net with the air dribble, and C-Jax was ready to leap on it, but shot goes wide. Red Hawk can't track it down along the wall. Another center pass for Confused Irish, blocked out that time. C-Jax trying to beat Cappy to this ball. Finds it's all the way across to the other side of the field, but No shot on net quite yet. Can't make target, but finally they're able to strike true. Cappy with the brace here off the feed from Galaxy.
Oh, and back on the other end of the pitch, CJax puts a nice pinch in and can't squeeze it through. And then just like that, Marquette are back in their own zone once again. Valor coming in with goal number 31 on the season to make it a 5-0 lead with 90 seconds remaining in game one. CJax driving back towards. Nice move to get around one. Red Hawk comes through to try to put it off the wall, but it spits out towards Irish. And Xavier driving once again on the offense. Galaxy with a hat trick, or excuse me, with 3 shots. It's 3 shots, not 3 goals. Nobody with a hat trick. Goals are spread out very evenly amongst Xavier right now. I'm looking to see if they can complete that. Nope, Cappy comes through with the hattie.
Trick for Cappy. I mean, there's a reason he's the captain of this team. He's a playmaker. And he continues to find ways to punish this Marquette defense that just can't seem to find their footing in this opening game of the series. Xavier just continually putting the ball up high, forcing the resource burn early. And even when a 50 goes in favor of the Golden Eagles, look how quickly Xavier is able to turn the ball right back into the orange half. CJax, good touch out there. Kicks out off the wall, off the ramp, and CJax is going to be forced to play it again. Not even sure if he had the time to pick up the corner boost, but he will be able to pass it to Red Hawk, and that will get it out of the orange half.
I really wanted Galaxy to make that 6th goal because that'd be 2 goals apiece, and my OCD would be very happy with that. But, you know, Valor coming through with the hat trick is nice too, just because Hattie for Cappy is fun to say. And I hope I get to say Hattie for Cappy more times tonight.
Well, certainly Xavier feeling good about it, as Cappy trying to put another one on, just not quite on target. But as the time starts to tick down, game number 1 solidly in control of the Musketeers. A couple of seconds left. Cappy maybe one more blocked away, but Marquette will have to regroup for certain to try and battle back in this series.
Yeah, Xavier, this just looked like another day at the office here. Cappy wants goal number 4. Will get denied. Bit of goal line defense there at 0 seconds for Marquette, just to make a statement that they're not going down without a fight. But I mean, look at that, 19 shots to 0. Not a single shot on target here for Marquette. I think CJax should have been credited with 1 for that pinch shot, but that's okay. If anything, that was the one and only. Incredibly one-sided traffic here in game number 1. Marquette, I mean, they've got the pieces there. We talk about this every time we see this team. We know they've got the pieces there, but somehow they have got to get something in transition. They've got to find a way to maintain possession.
Yeah, and I feel like the biggest thing about this Marquette, we talked about how there's been some roster turnover. And when you look at these players and how they've found success, it's a very well-rounded team, right? You look at that goal column in particular, a lot of them kind of hanging around that double-digit margin. And I think the biggest thing is that with the teams of old, right? You got Son of Carr and JFG, even Ducky G in that postseason run. You had that player to kind of initiate and make the play happen. And it felt like Nito Burrito was that guy early on in the season. But it feels like Marquette, a lot of these players are very good at being the second man in, the third man in. So being that initiator, being that front line is not necessarily what these players are used to. And that's why you can see, the technical talent is there. They're able to find the touches and control the boost at times, but they can't find that opening that will help them get to the setup and make life easier for their offenses. Here, their goal line defense makes the first save, but the rebound is going to go Galaxy's way. He's got another one here, the opener of game 2.
And that was just everybody crashing the net. The defense just cannot recover after the initial shot. Everybody committing to block the initial. And then second shot wide open. Nobody able to get off the ground. Marquette's defense falling apart a little bit along the goal line as Valor has made a name change over to Enzo, which we believe is also the captain of this squad. Same player, new tag.
Same results too. Enzo, in the last series that they played, had a very solid start. 2 goals, 3 assists. But
there we go.
Look at that. Marquette getting on the board. It's CJax with the dunk here. Red Hawk kicks it off the corner, and Enzo just comes off the wall wrong, and it's going to be CJax to punish.
First shot, first goal of the series here for Marquette. Let's see, Jax gets another tally, and that's... Maybe CJax is the one. Maybe CJax is the person to step up and really make things happen for this Marquette team. And it's still just kind of getting used to being in that role. Rice trying to get it out of there, but Galaxy, great challenge. Wants the double tap out of the corner, but extremely difficult angle. Galaxy won't find it. Confused Irish and Enzo both way far up. Take the corner, moves Enzo, drops it back to Galaxy. Everybody pressed up from Xavier. A clear here could be disastrous for them, but Marquette struggling just to maintain control. Keep the ball off the backboard. It's going to be a challenge here. A little bump throws Confused Irish off their game. Ball still drifting up in front of the net. Double commit from Marquette. Leaves the goal wide open, but the shot goes wide.
Confused Irish has got to be pounding their desk after that one. Just so close. The chance was there, but could not bury it. And now Red Hawk will get another save on the board here. Keep this game tied at 1 apiece. Marquette, a chance offensively. Enzo, that's a harsh back pass. The drop down is there. CJax trying to follow up, but the defense of Marquette, or of Xavier, excuse me, collapses down, blocking the opportunity.
Oh. But
CJax is able to intercept and turn it around, and Marquette has their first lead of the series.
CJax dragging him, kicking and screaming to that lead. It's 2 shots on goal, 2 goals scored there for CJax. All right, there you go. This is what we wanted to see. CJax stepping up. The Golden Eagles fighting their way to a 2-1 lead. Now they've got to fight to get possession. And on the defense, Galaxy's got to sneak one past him, and the immediate response comes out from the Musketeers.
The kick-up is so dangerous. 2 players bite on it, and it leaves the net open. Rice cannot get back in time. And just like that, it's a tie game. But that's the key. You know, when you've got so many similar styles of play, you start to see similar lines develop when you're in that rotation. You got to communicate here. You can't afford double commits against a team like Xavier. But look at this. CJax, a hat trick on the air dribble, and again off of the intercept.
It all came from the kickoff. Xavier tried to cheat up once again. Marquette able to read it this time. And it leaves Xavier a little vulnerable. They're pushed up a little bit too far and can't quite recover. CJax is able to get behind the defense for goal number 3 from Marquette. Great adjustment here from the Golden Eagles. Looking strong in the first half of game 2. Stronger, at least. Let's keep it reasonable, but definitely looking better.
Much better getting that to that 3-goal margin, but they're gonna give up one here. Galaxy again with a hat trick here this time. Rice makes a decent save, but Galaxy is so quick, and Xavier, these rebounds are just so deadly. They are snipers on this team. They can shoot very strong and then force these just harsh kickouts that put the ball in such a dangerous position. If your defense is not ready, they will quickly get punished for it. And Xavier making quick work of that lead too, cutting it down to 0. Back to a tie game, just over 2 minutes remaining.
Seems like a sniper versus counter sniper between CJax and Galaxy at the moment with 3 apiece. Xavier wants the edge, but Confused Irish's touch will bounce back to midfield. Galaxy has come in for a bit of a reset. Confused Irish finds the wide open net as a touch just leaves Marquette bewildered on the defense. Galaxy to Enzo. Nobody in the backfield after those 2 are done with them.
Redemption for Confused Irish on the whiff of the open net he had earlier. This time around, again, a double commit comes through for the side of Marquette in the corner, and the kick out off of those corners is just so difficult to read sometimes. But with everyone going and biting on the play, it leaves the back door open for Confused Irish, and they're able to slot that one in to make it 4-3 here, and they're looking for more. They are not satisfied with a 1-goal lead, and Galaxy is not to be outdone in this series. Tack on another one for him. That's 4 out of 5 this game.
Where the first half of game 2, it was blow for blow here between Marquette and Xavier. One goal equals to another, lends to another. Back and forth they went. Now Xavier with 3 unanswered to propel themselves into the lead. 90 seconds to go. Galaxy to the middle to Enzo, and that's goal number 6.
So clean here. Galaxy just quickly off a kickoff, gets to the sidewall, and look at that touch out. 9 times out of 10, players shoot from that angle. They try and sneak it inside the near post or get it, inside that near side of the net. But the kick out on the pass right down to the center line was such an easy follow-up for Enzo. And Enzo, I mean, just a sniper, like you said, so strong, able to get that one in. And all of a sudden, what was a tie game has exploded into a 3-goal lead for the Xavier Musketeers. Excuse me.
And it only took them 60 seconds to do it. First 2 minutes and 30, very back and forth, and then within a minute, Xavier just doubles the scoreline of their opposition. Demo in the backfield allows Galaxy a little room to work, able to race ahead of the Marquette player, but ball drops in a dangerous spot. Not a solid touch, but the defensive touch isn't much better. Does kick out to Galaxy, who's able to sneak it into the corner, drops it to Irish, and Xavier will clear this zone. Well, not if C-Jax has anything to say about it. C-Jax in a 1v2, nobody there for to help out. Can't get past the defense.
C-Jax has really found some great opportunities off of these kind of trail checks, basically. He's finding ways to get behind the defense and swipe the ball away from him, and no one's expecting it as Rice makes a good stop there. Give him the Savior badge for save number 3. But Marquette starting to run out of time here, and they're going to give up another one. It's Galaxy with goal number 5 off the backboard, and Enzo's going to get the assist.
What an assist it was. But can't take anything away from Galaxy. Knew exactly where to be and pre-jumped that ball. Xavier were behaving as one brain cell on that attack. Galaxy with an outstanding performance in game 2. 5 goals. Incredible stuff. Now looking for number 6. We'll find it.
I mean, out of nowhere, right? Red Hawk, this seems like a dangerous touch, but surely you have enough time to react, right? No. Galaxy is right there. The 70-mile-per-hour shot right to the open spot of the net. And this defense that looked clean early, was able to find chances, keep themselves alive in game 2. All of a sudden, Xavier's offense coming alive here. They might have another, but Rice going to be able to block that one away. And either way, Xavier will find themselves on match point.
And their dominance continues. The Musketeers want to make a statement to the rest of the Big East that they deserve their respect. They deserve the respect of the entire conference, maybe in the entire league. 16-6 in shots. Not quite as dominant as the 19-0 we saw in game number 1, but still an overwhelming amount of force coming out from Xavier right now.
And they are heating up at the right time of the year, right? When you look at their spring split, taking down RIT, taking down Idaho, taking down Howard. Their only loss was just last week, I believe, to Seton Hall, right? And Seton Hall is the defending league champions. So for them to come out in this spring split and have this type of performance, this is huge for them in this moment. And Marquette, I mean, again, you're seeing a lot of, good ideas and generally being in the right spots, but it's about that clean first touch that you can get on the ball. C-Jax has been able to find it in such a strange fashion too. The fact that he's able to back check, basically come from behind the opposing team and swipe the ball away and create those turnovers. It's really smart of him to do so, but it's not going to be consistent, as that one nearly off of kickoff finds its way into the back of the net, but C-Jax with a backboard touch will fork it away.
Rice trying to get it out of there. Galaxy and Enzo combined to hold it in the zone. Galaxy drops in the middle. Enzo goes for it. Red Hawk beats him to the punch. Galaxy still holding on the line in that corner. And this ball not out of the thirds yet. Enzo comes through with another one, and there's the opener. Xavier, they're going to pour on enough shots. Eventually, one's going to find pay dirt.
63 miles per hour, but look at the placement. And I think Enzo, just with all that time that he had to get up to that ball, you see everyone on Marquette is just in a very awkward spot to try and play that ball. Red Hawk has the best chance at it, but he's got to come off of the sidewall to get back to the backboard and be at the top corner. And at that point, when you're along the wall, you just have to guess at which half of the net that he's going to shoot at. And Enzo just perfectly waiting for him to get a little impatient and then just puts a bullet to that lower section, as that one's going to be dangerous in front, but Red Hawk tallies on another save.
Yeah, shot placement not optimal there from Galaxy. Kind of put it in front of the defender. Tried to get one in there. That one was pretty good, but C-Jack's able to read the near post. Shot from Confused Irish, trying to cross, go against the grain. But Marquette, they're able to stave off a couple shots here. Getting it out of the zone. Redhawks going down for it. We'll get enough of that ball. Rice is going to keep it in. C-Jack's going to the sky. Galaxy beats him to the 50.
We nearly found
this is
touch
dangerous.
too. Confused Irish looking for the double tap, but it's not quite there. That backboard got it to the backboard, but still not able to follow up on it. Marquette will get another clear. And this is another difficulty for Marquette. They can get some of these booming clears, but the way Xavier plays, right, they usually have one, maybe two players back and are ready to receive. And look at this, the feed down to Galaxy, and he's got another one here to make it 2-0.
Smart play from Enzo. Goes up to the sky where they've got a bird's eye view of the whole pitch. They can see exactly where Galaxy is going to be. Picture perfect pass from the ceiling. Galaxy comes in with goal number 8 on the day, and we're not even halfway through game 3.
And they're going to be looking for more too. You got to remember, Marquette put up 3 in that last one. You can't feel comfortable with a 2-goal lead. C-Jacks able to move that ball forward. They were a huge difference maker in game number 2. But they've got no boost here. Red Hawk is going to have to dish this one down in. Rice is here. Finds a setup touch. But C-Jacks still searching for boost. The boost steal from Xavier. Perfect timing. Kind of stalling out this Marquette offensive push. And now it gives Xavier a chance to move forward, as they're going to win the battle at midfield. Try and sneak one in the near side post, but Galaxy can't push one on target. Enzo's double tap goes wide as well, and Confused Irish keeping this pace going, finding a demo as well. Xavier, the press is on right now.
I'm not a coach or anything, but from my eye test, oh, an unfortunate bounce. Zenzo's going to sneak one in for goal number 3 here. Unlucky for the defense on this one. Red Hawk tried to go high with Rice going low, and it just squeezes between them. But as I was starting to say, I feel like Marquette is looking a little timid. And maybe it's just because they've had a rough season, perhaps second-guessing themselves a little bit. And you don't want to be reckless by any means, but you still need to be aggressive. You still need to be challenging for the 50s, particularly when you're getting into the blue half. You're starting to work into your opponent's zone, and then just give up space. You don't fight to hold on to it. We're seeing a little bit more fight here as you see Rice and C-Jacks going into the corner, knowing they need to make something happen. $150 left to go here in game number 3. Xavier on match point. Enzo gets the ball stolen off their hood. Confused Irish with the touch back. Enzo back over to Irish. Irish wanted to put that forward, but ends up just dropping it into the corner, and a clear is going to go back into the blue half.
Enzo will corral possession. C-Jacks moving forward, keeping the pressure on here, trying to get something on the board for the side of the Golden Eagles. Red Hawk going for a demo. He got the bump on one, but Galaxy still maintains possession. C-Jacks moving in. And this is some decent pressure applied. C-Jacks touch too fast through the midfield, and it will be cleared away. Enzo looking for Confused Irish. Shot on target, but saved away by C-Jacks. And with a minute remaining, I like what we're seeing from Marquette in terms of getting this ball into the blue half and starting to win a couple of these 50s.
I was thinking the same thing. And yeah, we saw a little bit of a double commit on the save, but that last 45-second sequence looked so much better from Marquette. Red Hawk and C-Jacks challenging the offensive zone, and it resulted in some shots. It resulted in opportunity and some possession. C-Jacks had a 1v2 here. Enzo's going to beat him out to that ball, but it spits up to the air. Galaxy doesn't touch it. Confused Irish doesn't have a solid look at it, but everybody backed off of the ball.
30 seconds left now, and Galaxy's going to get the chip shot over 1, over 2. Rice has to make the save. Last man back, standing tall here. 50, though, kicks out right to midfield. Galaxy looking for the double tap. Too far wide. Cleared once more. Enzo is back, but the clock is working against Marquette here. Xavier look like they are on the verge of a 3-0 sweep here in week 13. Maybe a drop down here for Red Hawk. Can't put it on target. Galaxy kept it in, but it's still inside the box off the crossbar. Enzo to keep it up. CJax is there, but Enzo says, no, not today. We want one more. They're going to chip it forward. Is it on target? Oh, it drops just short. And Xavier walk away with a W.
Rice, I was rooting for you to get your first goal there, bud. That was so close. That was so close. But Xavier bounced back from an 0-3 loss to number 1 Seton Hall in the Big East from last week. Strike back strong here in week number 13 with a very dominant 3-0 over Marquette. Yeah, we'll see. What was our scoreline here? Let's see. That's 17-3 overall score line between our 3 games. So Xavier looking good and looking to take this momentum into the final 3 games here of the season. We're going to take a quick little break. We're going to have an interview with Xavier when we return. Y'all don't go anywhere. All right, we got the captain of the Xavier squad in here, Valor, Enzo, Cappy, man of many names, man of many talents. Thank you for coming to talk with us. Congrats on the dub.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been a pretty strong push. I mean, the Seton Hall thing. All right, everybody loses to Seton Hall, but other than that, I mean, you've won 5 of your last 6. A really strong push here for the end of the spring split. What's your feelings going into the final 3 games and seeing if you can put yourself on the top of these Big East leaderboards?
Yeah, we're excited to keep playing some Big East teams. We have friends in all these teams, so it should be a fun time. We've been scrimming against a lot of them as well, so I think we're ready for whatever they bring.
Fair enough. And I mean, those are going to be some big conference games. And Xavier's always been a squad that is very close to that playoff bubble. What's the difference maker for you guys, this year that is going to help you try and get over that edge?
Yeah, I think sometimes mid-season we tend to have a little hiatus around Christmas, and then all of a sudden, before and after Christmas, we have a really hard time just getting out of that kind of lull, if you will. So we have a slow middle of the season, but I think this year we stayed grinding, and coming out into January, we were looking good. And I think that's been a key factor is just playing together during break and whenever we have time to.
I mean, it's certainly shown. And I mean, you're honestly one of the first people I've heard talk about that, like the importance of staying warm and continuing to build synergy over winter break. Which kind of leads me to my next question. So, what's the plans for spring break next week? Are y'all gonna have some fun and then some grinding? Is it all grinding? What's your plans for your week off?
I think we're all happy to take the week away from Rocket League, pretty much.
Fair. Fair.
We'll be out of town, so I think a week isn't too long. We should stay somewhat fresh.
Going home to see family or going out to do something fun? What y'all got planned?
Just recreation. We're going to Florida.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, any shout outs you want to give here before we let you get out of here?
As always, the club and then the teammates, great guys to play with. And particular, I always forget about Mike. I don't know why I do. But Mick Whiff, our coach, he does great things for the club, and we wouldn't be a club without him. At least we wouldn't have organized practices without him, most likely. So thanks to Mike.
Shout out Coach Mike. Love it. Well, hey, thank you once again for coming to do the interview. Congrats. Have fun in Florida, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Appreciate it. Thanks all.
Cheers. There you go. That was Captain Valor Enzo Capybara, I guess is what that was short for. I love it. Then Xavier. I mean, what an outstanding performance, putting up just a plethora of goals and making a strong case here going into the spring break. But that moves us forward as we get into our next match of the night. We are going to take a little bit of a hiatus when we return. It's the only undefeated team left in EGFC, Northern Arizona University, taking on North Dakota when we come back with more EGFC. And we are back as we have an AU coming up, looking for their 13th win in a row. This squad has just been on such a phenomenal tear, a really unprecedented level of success from Northern Arizona University here in Season 4. They've dropped 3 individual games in totality of the entire season, Soy. And that last one was back in Week 4. They have been flawless so far this season.
Played fantastic so far. And I mean, when you look at Northern Arizona, they are just a well-oiled machine offensively, right? They've had a couple substitutions here and there. Chronicle stepping in as of this split, and he has just, been fantastic, already trying to catch up to some of his teammates in that goals margin because they just continue to pile on the offense. North Dakota, they're going to have their hands full in this series.
Yeah, they certainly are. North Dakota coming in 3-9, struggling a little bit so far this season. This will be the third time they have faced off against the Lumberjacks. Both of those were 3-0s in favor of NAU. So, I mean, North Dakota know just how potent and dangerous this team can be from a first-hand perspective. They got to do it a third time in a row to see if they can be one of the very few to even take a game off of NAU.
And for North Dakota too, this is a team that, they, like you mentioned, they know NAU pretty well. They know what they're getting into this week. We're going to have to see what they bring to the table, because this is a team that we've seen a couple substitutions here and there from this squad, but pretty consistently their defense has been strong. I mean, numerous saves. Turtlester in particular, one of the top defensive players in the league. I think he's around 3rd or 4th overall in saves coming into this week. I'd have to look back at numbers again to do that math. But, North Dakota, they got to make their offensive chances count against a team like NAU, because we already know NAU, this offense will continue to put up points. So winning that type of track meet is going to be very difficult to do.
Yep, as you heard my exclamation right off kickoff, and that seeing Castillo come out in the battle bus right out of the gate. Usually we don't see that until at least game 2 or game 3. Castillo wants to take these kids to school early here against UND. Captain of this squad, tied in goals. I mean, wait, is that right? Are they all tied down the board? What is this, Soy? What is this wizardry?
It's absolutely absurd, the numbers that they put up offensively. But yeah, a couple of weeks that the KJ's been out subbing in. Chronicle has stepped up in such a huge way. This is goal number 25 of the season for Chronicle, just about a minute into the action. And yeah, KJ and Castillo currently tied for the top of the goal margin for this team, 44 apiece headed into this week.
An absurd amount of goals. 44 for Castillo, 40 for Galaxies, who's not on the pitch today, but then 44 for KJ, as you mentioned. Like, that's just insane numbers. To have 3 players with 40-plus goals in this squad, unreal.
I mean, it's why I call them a well-oiled machine, because they just continue to churn out chances. And it's an offense, too, that has really come online as of this season. I mean, last year, they were a squad that had a shortened season, but they went perfect through the regular season. And then came the postseason run. The only team that could really take them down was Montana until the league championships, when NAU couldn't get out of pools. And I think that loss in the postseason kind of sparked them for this season, right? Because they have seemingly just found another gear here. And all of those games where you thought, well, who did they play? Well, how good are they really? They have answered a lot of questions early on this season, and they are just continuing that momentum with Chronicle too, entering the lineup as of the spring split.
Got no addition to try to usher in the future of NAU as well. Chronicle's going to come out of the goal here. Just a little touch to get that around Zoom Gamer. Turtles are trying to hold on the line. Sleepy cheated up. Going to get a shot on past Castillo. Sleepy equalizes as North Dakota get one on the board.
Really well done here. 2 players commit on it, but it's a perfect kick out for Sleepy. And Sleepy able to find the back door there. You saw Castillo realize the situation, try and hustle back to make a play, but just came up a little bit too short, not enough boost in the tank to get back and make that save. And that's the game that North Dakota has to try and play against NAU. They've got to make the little things count for this squad, because trying to keep up with them offensively, very few teams have been able to do with great success. So finding that punish game, catching the little mistakes here is the name of the game for UND, and they're able to do so here early in game number 1.
So far, a fairly good showing from the Fighting Hawks. I mean, considering the deficit, as far as the records are concerned, considering how far apart these teams look on paper, we're looking very equal so far here in game 1. Castillo with a good touch is going to deny Turtlester an opportunity. Zoom Gamer battling out in the corner against a couple of NAU players. Chronicle's going to come up and boom it back down. KJ through the skies. Is that on target? It bounces off the crossbar.
how quickly they transitioned that into that defense into offense. I mean, KJ, that strike just barely off target, and now all of North Dakota backtracking here, trying to find a 50 against KJ, but Sleepy will have to backtrack. He's got no boost. Chronicle now trying to feed it back down to his teammate. NAU, the passing game of these players also has really come alive as this season has gone on. You know, when we look and see them in previous seasons, a lot of individual efforts and just kind of jumping on massive mistakes. But now the fact that they've got chemistry between these three, a full season now under their belt, it is so threatening to deal with. And they might have a chance here, but it's high off the backboard. Can't quite cut that one back down. Chronicle to dump it back in. Turtle Sir with a dangerous touch in front. KJ plays it slow, flicks it off the crossbar. The rebound, though, will get tucked in by Castillo, the captain.
Oh, big credit to KJ here for this fake. One goes past, goes over Zune Gamer, and another. KJ just left all three defenders guessing. Not a clue where that ball is going to go. And yeah, the shot's a touch high. You got Castillo there to put it home with the finish. But a phenomenal move from KJ to just dismantle this defense.
And unselfish too, right? KJ in that moment, you see, you know, when you're that close to the net, you know, 9 times out of 10, players just launch that ball as fast as they can. He had the opportunity to do so, but instead going for that fake, setting up his teammate for that opportunity to give them the late lead here in game number 1. Fantastic stuff as KJ looked for the demo to set up Chronicle, can't find him, and Castillo will just let this ball roll all the way back. They are going to keep this one up, though, but only for a moment. No boost in the tank, and Northern Arizona take game number 1.
KJ with an outstanding game. I would love to have the capacity to write like an AI script that could tell us how many 50s a player has won, like to be able to keep track of that stat, because I feel like KJ is unbeatable on these 50s. It's ridiculous. Every single time KJ not only comes away with the touch, but with a good touch. It's not like a pinch off that, you know, kind of spits out in a neutral. KJ always gets positive momentum and positive movement off that ball from every single challenge. It's ridiculous. Unreal. Unheard of.
It's absolutely
More
absurd. But the other key to it is that it sets up the teammates again. And we talk about NAU and how, you know, this offense just continues to turn out chances, right? They're the number 1 scoring offense in the league. I think when you got 3 players with over 40 goals this season, there are few and far between teams that can keep up with that. But then you also look at the other columns, right? The assists that they're getting are off of those 50s, are off of those plays, right? And that's what is really so, you know, magic about Northern Arizona, is that this is an offense that has really developed and now is starting to really blend together. And because of that, you know, there's no question now about these teams that are below 500. They just continue to dominate at this high level.
I got a stat for you. So the entirety of North Dakota have 35 assists on the season. Castillo has 42 themselves. KJ has 42 assists themselves. Galaxy has 35 themselves. Like, it's incredible to have players, multiple players with 40 goals and 40 assists. It is not just one all-star effort. It is an impeccable team here from Northern Arizona that have propelled them to this undefeated streak that they're protecting in this matchup against UND.
I have to go back and look, but I think the only team who might have more goal, or only players who might have more than them, adverse at a UTA, as I believe our leading scorer for the season, but then maybe Stellar from UND, and that's, but then the next 3 spots go to Northern Arizona, right? Everyone on the squad just continues to churn out goals, and I'm really again impressed with Chronicle. You know, just being that new face to the squad, you're not 100% sure when you get a young player stepping into a veteran roster how they're going to play, but he has just slotted in perfectly, and he's already on pace to catch up to these players this season because of his performance so far this split. And here, Castillo on the Scarab trying to make something happen on the air dribble, but UND's defense holds strong in that moment. Turtlester trying to find something off the backboard. Good chance here, maybe about the follow-up, but KJ makes it awkward for Sleepy, and the shot goes wide.
Just enough contact to throw Sleepy off the shot, and what could have been an important opening goal. Turtlester keeping it alive here, was trying to back pass, but KJ intercepts it. Goes over the top, and it forces Zoom Gamer against the wall in an awkward position. They are able to find the clear, but it's double demos, and there'll be no follow-up on this clear.
No follow-up quite yet. Turtlester is back, though. Won't be able to make that save underneath one. And sometimes, for Northern Arizona, it's about just finding those pockets, right? This offense, it's like the Big East teams, you know, kind of dealing with a Swiss Army knife in terms of how they attack. They've just got so many ways they can attack you. But sometimes it's just about beating the player across from you. And that's what NAU, I think, do better than almost anybody, right? With those 50s, they put the ball into an open area and they just say, we're faster. We're going to win the race to this next ball. Even if you're here to challenge us first on a 50-50, we can create chances. What a save, though, from Zoon Gamer along the goal line to pinch that ball out off the crossbar and keep this one scoreless. Still the pressure on, though. Castillo looked back down, but Zoon Gamer kicked it away. Chronicle's there, and Zoon Gamer gets back to make the save.
Collision there between KJ and Castillo. It was an incredible effort from KJ that forced three players up and forced that incredible save. But UND are doing a great job so far on the defense. They've been able to hold NAU thus far. That shot from Chronicle is a little off the mark. Castillo wants it back, will not get it. Demo Sleepy along the goal line, and it reduces some options here in the backfield and allows NAU to keep some pressure going. Tulsa along the wall, beats Chronicle, goes over KJ. No, KJ's falling back, looking for that 50. Turtlester dukes around him. Castillo gets it out of there. Bounce it down. Castillo wants to follow up, but doesn't have enough to work with.
AJ won't be able to find a touch here. Sleepy will get it away. And UND have kept it close here in game number 2. These offensive strikes from NAU just barely off target. Sleepy won't be able to find a touch. Sleepy certainly a player to watch for the side of North Dakota. You know, we saw a consistent 3 members for the Fighting Hawks all through that fall split, but Sleepy has really come into his own in this spring split. They love seeing what he can do on this pitch for the side of the green, but Zoon Gamer off of the save from Turtlester won't be able to break out quite yet. KJ, the feed across, the pop-up. Chronicle very late to this ball, but he's still gonna get there. The shot is on, but Zoon Gamer with an attacker on him makes the save with 30 seconds remaining, but it's gonna be KJ from the skies to put in the first of this one.
My heart breaks for Zoon Gamer just because UND deserved to go ahead after that incredible save. Zoon Gamer was literally on their nose when they make the save, but in response, it's KJ with an equally impressive goal in the upper 90, able to come down off the ceiling to get in the perfect position. And NAU, they just stay the course. They stay in the zone and keep putting pressure down. It took them until the final minute, but they eventually get what is the game-leading goal right now. 10 seconds on the board. Sleepy with the steal. Has 3 players to work with. Challenge it through the demo. The ball doesn't go in. Chronicle gets a piece of it, and the ball spits out to midfield. NAU safe, flawless here in the spring split.
What a close call that was. Northern Arizona going to be able to take game 2 of the series and put themselves on match point, but you know, there are moments from North Dakota, right? It feels like this is a team that can break through. They've got what it takes, but just putting it together on the same week has been so difficult for them. And to break out against Northern Arizona, a team that just continues to press time and time again, it shows great resolve from UND, right? UND never give up on a play. They are always, looking for the next ball, looking for that next 50, looking for that next step. And even though it's never clear, especially against a team as fast as NAU, they are always ready and trying to make that next play. Just in the last moments there, that scramble didn't go in their favor.
And North Dakota's defense is so good. Yeah, we've talked a lot about stats here tonight, and I mean, Zoom Gamer coming in with 57 saves. Like, I mean, that's those. I got to look back down. Like, wait, what? 57 saves. Turtlesur has 54 as well. The defense out of North Dakota is super strong, and they've leaned into that all season. And it's on display. You're holding NAU to 1 goal that didn't come until the final 25 seconds in game 2. Now it's, as you mentioned, they've got to couple that with the ability to get into the other end of the zone and see if they can press forward with it and create those opportunities, stick with the play like you're talking about, and turn those defensive strengths into attacking opportunities.
Biggest things I think for North Dakota is, wow, what a save by Zune Gamer along the goal line there. But that, this is a team that, yeah, like you said, very much so leans into that defensive style. They know that they're going to get pressed time and time again. So they are constantly, even when they try and push out, it's 2 players back just in case, the clear comes through. But for North Dakota, it's one of those cases where we know their offense can shoot. They just don't ever have the time. The ball is never on the hood of their car. And especially in a series like this against NAU, here, the air dribble comes from Castillo. Chronicle in the follow-up, but all 3 members of North Dakota on that goal line ready to make the save.
And nobody was fooled. Nobody jumped out. Nobody committed to the air ball. Patient defensive play from North Dakota. And they just watch NAU do a bunch of acrobatics and then sit there and wait, and easy save. Good positioning. Great read. They need to do it again. Chronicle shot's going to go a bit off the mark. Castillo has one. That one goes home. Castillo striking relatively early here in game number 3.
67-mile-per-hour shot, and look how close Zune Gamer was to making the save. He gets up into the sky, but he just is too far back into the net. But that's about as fast as you can turn. It just goes to show how fast that shot was from Castillo to give NAU the early lead, but they might have one back here. Chronicle is able to make the save, and Castillo is there again to clear that ball away. The quick transitions, NAU, their defense has been susceptible at times, but they're never on defense for all that long. Sleepy can't find the touch here at midfield, and NAU regather possession.
What a quick little move, the quick drop back to Chronicle, who's now able to challenge the net. Didn't like what they saw in front. But NA, you're able to keep up the zone. Now KJ going up for it, going off the backboard with that. Looking for the double tap. It's going to fall out wide. Chronicle's follow-up on point. And Chronicle keeps the good times going here for NA. You can see why Northern Arizona are all smiles here on the pitch.
There's just something about this team that they never feel uncomfortable, even when they're challenged, right? Even when, we see these close games, their offense just continues to go to work. Just another day at the office, pulling out these flip resets and, being able to create these chances. And it's been few and far between the teams that have really made them look uncomfortable, even when they dropped games, way back in the fall split, right? Even those teams, were just taken aback by the speed this team brings to the table, the control that they have. And NAU, the fact that they can kind of hit that cruise control at such a high pace of play makes it so difficult, because comfort's such a big deal here at EGF. I mean, I feel like that was one of the struggles for Marquette in the last series, that their pace of play, the pace of play that they are comfortable with, is just a tad bit slower than that of Xavier. And here, NAU, the fact that they are so much faster right now than North Dakota is paying such huge dividends, as Castillo going to tap in the double, or tap in the brace, I should say, making it a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, Turtlesur just puts that ball in an awkward spot. KJ was threatening Turtlesur along the wall, so Turtlesur felt the need that they had to kick it out. They didn't want KJ to dunk on him, and they ended up just putting it right on Castillo's hood. Beautiful placement, and yeah, it looks like, NAU isn't breaking a sweat or breaking an oil. I'm not exactly sure what that would be. I don't know. Did cars sweat? Big some philosophical questions I pose here. Important, life-changing questions.
Good rust,
KJ,
maybe, but...
Yeah. That was a 3v1 momentarily. Zune Gamer able to hold on. A lot of contact in the quarter. Castillo able to right their vehicle. which they're now coming in the EO pickup truck. Going to tow a trailer onto the pitch here before too long. Right on the hood of their car, the roof of their car. And KJ Chronicle trying to get work done. Shot from long field isn't going to hit the mark, but Zoom Gamer is here for a follow-up. Not enough mustard on that one.
KJ able to get back in time for that. Turtle Sir going to be blocked out from making any play on that ball as well. Zoom Gamer doesn't find the touch. Sleepy there to bail at the defense in that situation. North Dakota pinned in their own back third once more here, but they've got the boost to press out. They've gotten a couple of these 50s now. NAU forced to backtrack very frequently in this series. Is that one going to be launched across, but again, not on target. I think the biggest thing in terms of the difference between these two teams is that you can see the passing plays from NAU. They're looking for each other, finding each other in transition, whereas North Dakota, it feels very kind of one and done. It feels like one player moves up, they get a good 50, next player moves in, but it's just too slow or just too late. The 50's not going quite their way. They've got to find a way to create some space, and that is so difficult to do against NAU, but they just have not been able to figure out a strategy quite yet. NAU not giving them the time to do so.
No, NAU are just so good at strangling out their opponents. UND have to go for these big, long clears to get resources and get reestablished. And NAU take that opportunity just to regain possession and continue to press the attack. And it's just because NAU are so good at controlling the pace, we'll get a consolation goal here for Zoom Gamer. You know, a bit of a morale booster to close out the series for North Dakota. But NAU stay flawless in the spring split. Nothing but 3-0s, nothing but dubs here for the Lumberjacks.
And for North Dakota, you know, again, this has been such a rough draw for them in particular, right? We talked about how many times they had to play Northern Arizona, who has just been on a tear. It's a tough schedule for them, and it does not necessarily get any easier, right? They get Butler next week. They get Washington State, which I believe is an in-conference game for them. And then they end the year with UTA, and that is going to be a tough draw for North Dakota. But you got to deal with the cards that you're dealt here, and you got to find a way to fight through.
Yeah, that's a heck of a finish for North Dakota. That's gonna be a tough season to finish out on. NAU, there doesn't seem to be anybody really, you know, top 3 or anything in their future. So it seems like a real potential they could come through with the golden split here. It could finish spring split without dropping a single game. That would be an incredible feat. And I mentioned it last week. I am rooting for it just because I would love to see something that exceptional here in EGFC. So good luck to NAU. See if they can make that happen. Get a chance to talk to them about it. I believe we're getting Galaxy in again. So for the second week in a row, we're going to get Galaxy in, who's been watching from the sidelines. So this will be an interesting interview, no doubt. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute. We are here with Galaxies on the Line, aka Castillo's trailer. That is fantastic. Hey, how's your week been? Like, I don't even know what to talk to you about anymore. This is just our regular weekly meeting. I feel like we're in therapy, Galaxies.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was just our weekly therapy session that we
It's our
come
weekly
to.
therapy session. Yeah. Y'all have spring break next week?
I believe so, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of you says no spring break. You guys have enough snow days as it is.
Oh, well, hopefully you get something funny. I mean, I was gonna ask what you were gonna do for spring break. Like, did you have plans? Is the team just gonna keep grinding? Y'all going on vacation? What's y'all's plans for next week if you do get the week off?
I'm probably gonna go home, gonna go spend time with family. I think that's with everyone on the team. We'll still be grinding, but we'll be spending time with family. You know, because family's almost it's the number one priority except for school, and then esports comes after that. But yeah, that's our plan for the spring break.
Well, that makes sense. I like that. I like it. School, family, esports. I can work with that.
So on the topic of Rocket League, just because I'm looking at the schedule for you guys have a lot of divisional or conference games left, I should say. But the big one coming up for you guys is Montana, and that's always a close rivalry with them. What is it about Montana that always makes it so close between you guys?
We just we like getting content. Gotta give you guys some content. um, but also we love playing against Montana. We actually scrimmed them before they played UTA, so it's fun to play with them. And next week we'll be the victor again. We'll be the victor. A shout out at High Crew. He's gonna go down this time.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one. Hey, it's the only team to. I mean, that's their 2 or 3 game losses. That was way back in week 1. So
yeah, that is correct.
We were talking about that flawless spring split last week when we talked to you. So I mean, you're gonna have to take High Crew down if you want to complete that golden split.
Yeah, that is correct.
So what's your thoughts on the squad coming in? I feel like you're just like the coach now. Like, are you on the sidelines just like telling them what to do? What has your role been like over the past couple of weeks? Are you getting itchy to get back on the pitch, or are you enjoying just watching the squad go out and do their thing?
I'm always itching to get back on the pitch, but I'm just their emotional support. You know, I keep the mentality up. I try my best to keep their mentality up, and just sometimes I kind of just give them pointers of what to try and apply for next game if I see something that's going on, or I just let them play their game too. I just let them play. You know, have fun, play it out.
I mean, you're still a beast. Like you've been given some Chronicles some game time, and you still have 40 goals on the season. You still have more goals in the season than the majority of EGFC. So we still see you. Don't you worry about it. We still see you. We know you're a beast, Galaxy.
I'll be back. I'll be back later this semester. Don't worry. I'll have my comeback return.
That's what I like to hear.
I'll be back.
That's what I like to hear. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go? You know the routine.
A shout out to NAU, our official, like all of our socials, NAU Esports. Shout out to the boys playing a great game today. Shout out to all the friends and families watching, and shout out to you guys. Great casting today. Always having fun watching you guys cast, and always trying to give you guys something to hound you guys on, especially you, Wolfgang. I was like busting up with you. It's fun.
Hey, likewise. I love watching your squad. Always a joy, man. Thank you so much for coming to talk with us. We love speaking with you, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Nah, actually, not hopefully. It is guaranteed you'll see me next week. Actually.
All right. That's what I like to hear. All right, there it is. The guarantee from Galaxies as they continue their flawless run here through EGFC. We're going to continue our run through our Wednesday night here in week number 5 of the spring split. We got one more match coming at you to conclude our Rocket League this evening. After the break, it's RIT taking on University of Connecticut. We'll be back with that in just a few. So apparently this isn't good enough for. Anyway, moving on. All right. RIT coming up. They're taking on UConn here as we head into our final match in week 5 of the spring split. UConn have been on quite the tear. RIT, they've tried to bounce back a little bit. They take a step forward and then a step back. Soy.
Odd to see RIT where they are this season, but it's just, I think, been partially because of the turnover that we see from the collegiate scene. I mean, this is a squad that for the past 3 seasons has pretty consistently been one of the top teams in the EGF, but this year that consistency is just not quite there. But I think part of it is they've got so many players that have started one week or another for this team. But this is the squad that we see more consistently starting this week in a big match for them against UConn.
Yeah, we're going to get Tomato, Area, and 4 coming onto the pitch. So 3 of the more regular names that we've seen start for RIT, which is good as they're trying to figure out. This is a transition year. I mean, we've talked about this before. So I mean, we're not throwing any shade at them. It's time for them to find their groove again, to get their rhythm back. UConn, on the other hand, have been just in full stride. They have had the chops. And, they've been getting the job done. They've won 3 in a row since their opening week loss in the spring split to UTA. Looking to keep that going here today.
And a big week for them, too, because after this, this is what will kind of string them into conference play afterwards to wrap up their season. So they've got to make sure that they are, all tied up and ready for those matches and get under the full swing. But like you said, they've been playing fantastic so far this split, and we were shocked when we got to interview them. They were saying well, we didn't get the chance to really play with each other that often, and it felt like how because this is a squad that just their chemistry is uncanny. It just seemingly comes out of nowhere, and that just is a testament to how smart this team is. They are constantly in the right place at the right time.
Okay, this RIT being blue and UConn being orange thing is going to throw me off. I'm warning you right now, friends. I am going to make a wrong call because of my brain is so color-oriented. Oh, my goodness. All right. It is RIT in the blue who are defending against UConn at the moment. Kaker trying to find one in the opening, but Tomato is going to send that one into the corner. Anton up top gets the touch, gets the demo. Ball spits out to the wall. Kaker and Shiro raid for it. Shiro has been particularly outstanding this year. A real standout joining this UConn squad.
Yeah, Shiro has been fantastic, especially this split in particular, really stepping up in big ways. But it's going to be the bump coming through. Area RL will have the first goal of this one, but off the bump from Tomato, I should say. Wow, what a play. He barely gets to Anton in time.
And it doesn't make full-on solid contact, but it's plenty enough to throw Anton off the mark. A great opener here for RIT. A team coming in 2-9, making an early statement. Anton immediately answers, wastes no time getting that goal right back.
UConn just no quit in them. Especially after the first goal of this game, they find one immediately after. Shiro, who we mentioned already, having a fantastic split, getting off on the right foot here. Great feed. And Anton is a sniper. He's one of the highest scoring players in this league. Coming into this week, he was tied with those 2 members of NAU, KJ and Castillo, for second overall in scoring. He's going to try and keep pace with them after this performance here against RIT.
That might be tough. NAU just put on a bombardment of goals. But yeah, that's goal number 45 for Anton. Incredibly impressive. Shiro, the name we mentioned at the top of this game, comes in for goal number 2. Nice little 1-2 punch. Shiro with the pass to Kaker, drops it right back down. Kaker just demolished the defense. The defense just exploded off the screen in all directions. There was no blue cars left.
Shiro and Kaker have been such a huge addition to this UConn squad, as Area nearly had a chance at one but couldn't kick that ball back down underneath the crossbar. A double demo comes through though. 4 with a chance to shoot, sends it off the wall, looking for the bump. The shot is wide, and RIT cannot convert off a huge opportunity. Shiro looks to head the other way with it. Kaker for Anton, the give and go, too far. Not enough on target and just too fast for Kaker to get back to it. RIT dodge a bullet there, but a couple of chances both ways here, and this is what's been a huge factor for with a crossbar save.
That was so close. Area really wanted that tying goal. And yeah, missed opportunities both ways, but it's RIT who really needs one to go for him right now so they can equalize this and get back on equal footing. Kaker over the top, trying to give the lead back over. It won't quite go. Shiro doesn't jump on it quick enough. Anton puts it off the wall just to maintain possession. Shiro's going to win the challenge. Rotation at midfield will give UConn the ball in the positioning back into the blue half. Shiro working into the middle. Kaker decides to maintain control. Doesn't take the easy shot. Works back outside to Anton. Anton off the wall. Back to Kaker. Kaker's going to drop it back for Shiro. Ford's going up for it. It's going to beat him to it. A good touch leading to Matto. Shot is right at 2 defenders.
Yeah, they're able to get back in time, and now UConn in an odd spot here. Forward the kick up, but Tomato shot off target there. Not a great angle. Kaker got led a bit too far, so Anton will go for the air dribble here. Went for the flip reset late. Four shuts that play down. Doesn't find the touch off the ceiling kick out. Still that 1-goal lead being held by the Huskies here, but RIT, they've started to find some momentum here. They're starting to find some of these pockets where UConn cannot work in. Maybe look for those demos here in the last 30 seconds like they were able to find kind of in the mid portion of this game to help them try and get back to a tied scoreline, but they can't afford to give one up here. That's a harsh pinch, but not enough on it to get it back to his teammates.
Yeah, Anton was trying something there. Definitely wanted a little bit more oomph on that ball. Riding over the top of it to get the pinch backward off the wall. Anton to Kaker here in the midfield. 12 seconds remaining. Kaker looking for the double tap. Won't get it. Shiro won't be allowed to shoot as Tomato's going to put it on the outside. RIT with one last opportunity. Clear from Shiro. Aria's able to put it up. 2 players there. Kaker throws it to Anton. They were looking for a exiting goal. They'll still take the dub. 2-1 here at UConn, game number 1.
Yeah, solid stuff by UConn to get that win, even though it was very close. You can see the ideas from RIT. It feels like they're very close to being able to capitalize on these plays, but just 1 or 2 things go awry and they can't quite come up clutch. UConn able to take the lead, and really off the back of Kaker and Shiro in particular. Anton gets that first goal, but Kaker and Shiro, I'm at a loss for words apparently as I try. These two, UConn was a team that, again, they've struggled historically in the fall split and then kicked up as the season went on, but they've had some roster turnover. Droys and Disaster in particular, the dynamic duo that really sparked UConn's run in season 2. They've never had that type of chemistry since. And Anton's been here, since season 2. He was playing with those guys, and that was such a strong squad. And now you're seeing from Kaker and Shiro that same kind of chemistry of what Droys and Disaster were able to bring to the table. When you've got 2 players who are just seemingly in sync, and then you've got that X factor of Anton who can just be a playmaker out of seemingly nowhere, this offense just continues to impress.
Time and time again. Pass to Shiro, right as you mentioned it. It's a beautiful center from Anton to set up goal number 1, 17 seconds into game 2. Starts with this great touch, but that look to get that pass behind 4 and catch Shiro in stride. Just, beautiful stuff.
And Anton's pass was so absurd. I mean, everyone in that situation off a kickoff is thinking, okay, oh my goodness, we may not have the time, as Kaker's going to put in goal number 2 very quickly. UConn are back to that 2-goal marker, and only a few seconds gone by. RIT, they got to stop the bleeding here.
Come on, Huskies. We're trying to talk highly on your first goal, and you don't even give us a chance before you score. Give us some time, y'all. Come on.
I mean, that opening goal, 9 times out of 10 is, oh my goodness, Anton nearly found the double tap there. This UConn offense unrelenting as Shiro's got a double tap. We're just never going to talk about this first goal, or at least RIT will want us to stop talking about it, because every time that we do, UConn put in another one here, and Shiro, the number of double taps that they just had, what a play from UConn in this offense.
Shiro's double taps are disgusting. I mean, just perfect placement on that second touch, able to drop in the upper 90, using their own car to block any chance a defender would have. Not that anybody was even close on that play. Just incredible stuff out of Shiro. One of my standout players here, one of my favorite new players of the season here in the spring split.
And rightfully so. I mean, he's earned it, this split. I mean, UConn, they got off to a little bit of a rough start with that match against UTA, but other than that, I mean, they played fantastic. And UTA, I mean, UTA is UTA, right? Taking a game off of them, they made UTA sweat for a little bit in that series. So it just goes to show that, you know, this team, it is vastly improved from teams of old, and they still feel like they can improve, right? They still feel like their chemistry could be better, like they could play better. And that is a scary prospect for the rest of this league. And RIT knows it, because they're trying to create something here offensively. Four and area trying to find each other in the centering lane there, but still not enough. Tomato's going to make this save. Trying to get the clear here as well. They find area, but Anton, I believe, on the block there, and Kaker will get it back out of the orange half.
It does seem like every time we talk to UConn, at least it's happened more than once, where we're like, man, y'all were fantastic today. How you feeling? They're like, yeah, we can do better. I mean, it's happened more than once. You know, if I had a nickel, you know, it's weird that it happened twice type of scenario.
Well, the pinch going to come through as well there from Kaker. Shiro in the setup. Anton is there off the backboard. The follow-up shot, not enough on it. Tomato's going to get back in time to make that save. The kick out is dangerous. Shiro kicked it up, and Tomato was looking to jump on that ball, but still unable to find the touch. Cleared away once more. UConn's defense really strong this series in particular, but only allowing that one goal as we're past that halfway marker. But UConn's defense too, I mean, it feels like RIT, they're able to get this ball into the orange half, but in terms of generating chances, it's been few and far between. Even there, the kick out is dangerous, but there's no one able to cleanly follow up. A lot of these chances for the Tigers are kind of one and done, and then UConn finding a way to clear it, but that one's going to dangerously roll in front, and a save is made. How does that ball not cross the goal line?
I don't know. Was that one save or two for Anton? It couldn't matter. It's a really important one any way you slice it. As Anton is fighting in the corner for possession. UConn want goal number 4 here. Put the nail in the coffin. Area with a good drive, able to beat Shiro on the 50. He's going to center it here for Tomato. Goes over the top of the goal, and Kaker is able to get it out of there. 4 chasing it back down, just barely able to guide that ball out of the net.
Tomato, good clear here. 4 going to race after it. Steal the boost as well. Double tap off of the wall, but Shiro is there. 4 now, sending it back down in. I think the biggest struggle here for RIT is look at their offensive positioning and how they just cannot find a way to clear this ball out of the corner. This one might be on target. Yes, it is. Anton is going to get the credit here. That's another one for him this series, but all off of, oh no, Tomato. Trying to pull what CJax was doing in Marquette, playing from behind there to try and intercept that ball, and it ends up going into their own net.
Just an unlucky bounce. Just that little bit of angle is enough to put that ball on a perfect trajectory to bounce off the wall and be goal number 4 here for UConn. At the end of the day, I'm not sure it would have mattered a whole lot one way or another. If this was a 3-3 game, my heart would be especially broken, but UConn are in control this entire time. Anyway, a lucky bounce goes their way. Seems just a drop in the bucket for the wave that UConn have been able to put on. Of course, as I'm talking highly about him, Area is able to sneak one back and get rid of that goose egg.
Shiro with seemingly a decent clear, but the feed from 4 finds the gap, and it was such a narrow window for RIT to hit that play, but they make it happen. And 4 off of that centering ball finds Area, or the strike to get the Tigers on the board here. Can they find one more and make this still feasible in a matchup like this? No, Shiro's air dribble is going to help that clock tick, tick, tick away. Is this one in as well? 4-0, saying no, sir, not today along the goal line. But what an angle from Anton. Tomato makes the save. And even when RIT finds some momentum, UConn better on the defensive side. Oh my goodness, what a crazy sequence that was from the Huskies as they clutch out game number 2.
I mean, some gorgeous saves from the Tigers as well, but not enough of them. They had 6 saves. It still wasn't enough to stave off the aggression coming out of the Huskies.
Yeah, and RIT again, a team that has had such a large turnover. It feels like this is a squad that is, like we've mentioned, kind of rebuilding, but it is very much so. RIT has always been a team of adaptability. And one of the biggest things was that season 1, right? You had Sunblaze and Beando, who were just so smart with all their touches, so many critical plays that they made. Season 2, Sebward stepping into the lineup with Jakob. Jakob got so many clean touches in season 3. He was that lead man, that go-to guy. And RIT now, it feels like Sebward has seen a lot of the changes and a lot of these players come through, but finding that right combo, finding that right chemistry, and getting it all to click is just that next step that has eluded RIT so far this season. Because we know, you saw in that last sequence, that was a great passing play to find that one window to strike and get that goal for the Tigers. But the chances that they got were few and far between, and they got off to such a poor start because of how quickly UConn were able to get that 3-goal lead. They can't afford that here in game number 3.
Certainly not starting on the real match point. Good play from Area, is able to beat Shiro over the top. And Tomato is going to push one down, but Anton all over that. Ariel kind of misses to Caker. Area gets the touch. Anton drops down to Shiro. Tomato with a good challenge. Forces it in the corner past both of them. And manages to keep it in the zone, but doesn't have the boost to go up for it. Anton looking for the clearer. Connects with the pass onto Shiro, and that's going towards the back wall. UConn a slightly slower start here as we're concluding the first minute of game 3. 4 with perfect positioning. Trying to drop it down, but the ball lands right in front of Caker.
A flick here. Oh, 4. It kicks out the back of his car.
Yeah.
And that's the danger of being along the backboard like that. And nobody expects that touch to go behind you when you're on the backboard. And it kicks out perfectly. And Caker reads it so well to tack on another one here as Anton going for the air dribble. And he's got it. What an angle from Anton to make it 2-0.
That one was pretty. That was just so pretty. That little touch there was that was golden touch at the very end of the play to drop it right between the 2 defenders. Oh my goodness. Anton just put them on a poster.
A highlight reel goal from Anton as Area can't catch them out in transition. And once again, UConn off to a fairly early lead here. RIT is going to have to find a way to respond, and they will. Area with the cheeky goal here out of nowhere. 4 sets this up with the kick down, and the ramp, he's expecting a bounce there, and it just low rolls right to Area, and RIT steal one back.
What an incredible decision from Area to challenge that near post and get underneath the defense. That was a very small window. Area is able to jump on it quickly enough to find that opening. A brilliant decision making coming out of Area to cut the lead in half.
An Area, even there, no boost in the tank, but he baits in the defender and uses the 50 to continue to move that ball up the pitch. He's got the ball on the hood of his car now, waits out one, and he's going to find a second here. Area's got the mind games going right now, fooling everyone on UConn's defense.
Oh, wow. What a move. And able to bounce it off a Caker to go in the goal. Oh, man. Back-to-back here from Area is going to tie up game 3. Incredible plays. I mean, yeah, it was a goal and an assist, but No, it was 2 goals. Never mind. My initial tally was in the wrong spot. 2 goals, 2 shots for Area. Carrying RIT here through the first half of Game 3.
And the interesting part, right, is the Area is not typically the striker of this team, right? Only 6 goals coming into this week for the total of the season for him. You look at normally it's 4, normally it's Sebward, but you see him making plays like that, and you feel like, okay, RIT, maybe they've got something working here, but it's a lot of kind of individual efforts from RIT. They've got to start finding each other on a couple of these passing plays. They were able to do so a little bit in game number 2. That 1 goal in particular that they had was very well put together, but finding that formula is the difficulty, because UConn, they're not going down so easily after giving up 2 goals back to back.
The Area, in fact, has scored every single goal for the Tigers here today, increasing that goal tally from 6 to 4, from 6 by 4 to make it to 10. Yes, numbers, math, dangerous territory for us casters. Area get beat over the top right there, but Tomato's going to find the clear. 4 chasing it down into the corner. Just kind of dropping it towards net, hoping a player would collapse on it. Area's trying to do so. Keeps it in, ball drops down. Tomato will get just enough of that ball to put it in the net. Lead goes to RIT.
Huge play here, and who else but Area to kick that ball back into the center. And Tomato able to get to that ball in time, and now a late lead now for the Tigers. 1:37 on the clock here. Their defense has looked a little bit better, and as long as they don't give up, one of those spectacular plays from, Shiro or Anton, you got to be feeling a little bit more confident about the Tigers moving forward in this series. But still, a lot of time. Area trying to play defense here at midfield. Caker shut down by Area. What a play to get back down from the ceiling. Leaves it for 4 as well. High off the backboard. Shiro reads it and gets it to the corner.
Area is just making some incredibly smart moves today. That play off the ceiling for that challenge, absolutely massive. And it's UConn, who are kind of stuck in their own zone right now. 4 with an opportunity, but Caker's able to get above them and clear that zone. Into the blue half comes Shiro and Caker. Caker following behind, off Shiro on the wall, looking for the one-timer. 4's all over it. Tomato's going to go off the wall to get this ball out of here. Area just going to put 1 on. It just goes right to Shiro.
4 not going to be able to win that challenge, though, and UConn know that the time is working against them now. Shiro's got no boost. He was looking for a bump. Anton just trying to buy some time. 4 the flick. Got past him, but he bought enough time for Caker to make that play. Finds Shiro as well. Caker wins the 50, and it's going to be on target, too. Caker, with 15 seconds remaining, ties the game at 3.
And Shiro with a nice little ditch off the wall just before the contest comes in. And Caker with that select little move at the end. UConn are right back into this thing. You can't ever count out this Husky squad. Anton's going to get the ball right off kickoff. Takes to the air with 12 seconds remaining. Area there to greet him. A ball falls down. Shiro going off the wall. Tomato with the defensive move. Tomato pushing out. Shiro rushing forward to try to beat him to it. Tomato's going to come away with it. Can't keep it on the wall. We're headed to OT.
Big overtime here for the Tigers. They've had such a good showing in this game. To drop it would be tragic for them. UConn certainly want to get out of this series quickly if they can. Be a huge confidence boost for them. I mean, these are 2 teams that normally, when they meet, their records are so close. So you're looking at the top of the standings, but RIT showing that even on their down days, they can keep up with the best of the best. Area trying to move forward. 4 can't find the touch. Area will look for Tomato, but Anton on the steal. It's an open net if he can get it there, and he will. Anton in overtime ends this series in a 3-0 sweep.
Gets that touch, recovers, and able to beat Area to that ball. Caker can't get back. Anton scores the game-winning goal. We'd expect nothing less from this captain. Totaling 48 goals on the season. So very close to that coveted 50-goal mark.
And such a huge play from Anton. I think one of the biggest things about Anton is that you know, the smart plays. Even I'm gonna now that we're out of game, I'm gonna talk about the first goal of game number 2 because they can't possibly give up another goal in this sequence. But look, it's plays like that and plays like this overtime goal where 9 times out of 10 you see them shoot the ball a certain way or approach the ball a certain way. But Anton saves his resources, knowing that the boost is where that power is going to come from. He ends up using his flip and holding his position and getting to that angle to then all of a sudden make a move, make a play, and give his team an advantage. And that's where Kaker and Shiro, being the perfect complements to him, have really stepped up the season for UConn and played a huge factor in their win over RIT this week.
And a huge factor on their 9-4 season thus far. Quite successful here from University of Connecticut, and they're looking to go into the postseason with, you know, a head full of confidence and wind at their back. And this is just another step in that direction. And well, it sounds like we're gonna get to talk to the captain about it. We're gonna have Anton come in, have a little chat. Let's get that set up, and we'll come back with you in an interview here in just a few minutes. All right, we've got Anton here, captain of the Yukon Huskies, here to have a little chat. Thank you for coming to join us. Congrats on the dub.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me here.
So I think at this point we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're down to the end of the season. Y'all are 9-4 after today's win, and I mean, look at the schedule. I'd say y'all are the favored matchups until the very final week, where it's going to lead into y'all playing Seton Hall. I've kind of got my eyes set on that one personally. What about y'all? What about the team? Where is your focus moving forward? Are y'all looking down the road, or is it week by week?
I think for me, at least, and I mean, I'm sure the team can attest to this, it's kind of a mix of both, taking it 1 week at a time, because the way that things kind of work with us and how we kind of go about our day as a team is just kind of taking it one game at a time, one series at a time, whichever league we're playing in. It's really focused on like us, and it's more about making sure that we perform rather than we're like analyzing our opponents and stuff like that. But it's definitely there's that short-term consideration of like, okay, we have a game today, let's just perform our best, and then that long-term consideration, of course, about like making the playoffs, eventually hoping to make it to conference championships, stuff like that, for sure. So I think it's a mix of both.
Well, that sounds healthy. We believe in you. We know you can do it. We know you can do it.
Thank you.
It's interesting, so like we mentioned, 9-4 this season, and looking forward to seeing how you guys perform. But this team feels very different from teams of old. I was mentioning how the last time UConn had that deep postseason run, Droys and Disaster were on the team with you. How is it? Can you kind of compare and contrast the differences between the combo of Droys and Disaster versus Kaker and Shiro?
Yeah, so it's definitely different than it was before in many ways, but I feel like for me and how I just try to approach it is like back in that day, like because it was John and Mitch, John Droys, and then Mitch was Disaster. We were all playing, and like we all kind of came up together in the whole like UConn Rocket League team, so we were all kind of figuring it out together, and seeing how things were supposed to go and figuring out like each other as well. And I feel like with Shiro and Kaker, they bring a very different skill set and a very different level of skill to the team. And I'd say like much higher, especially considering where we were 2 years ago with Droys and Disaster back in the day. Playing. I would have killed to be as good as Kaker and Shiro now. Back when I was that or not even that young, just like earlier. And I feel like now I have to kind of step into more of like a facilitation role in terms of being like, I've been here a while, and making sure that the transition, at least from, because this is my last year, like making sure that they know how to play on a team, make sure that the team is healthy, everything's good, like that, like keep the vibes good, remember that it is competitive, but it is about having fun. And I think that's kind of how my approach has changed.
I think that's awesome. And I really enjoy the fact that you're taking more of a leadership role with that, as opposed to feeling threatened or like, oh no, I've got to be the best player on the team. Like you sound excited to have this new energy and this new perspective and this great talent on the squad. I mean, does that ring true?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of me is excited because after being in the program for like 3.5 years and essentially, running it to an extent, it's great to see that where we were versus like now, they're in a great spot. I mean, Kaker is a really good talent, especially being a freshman, and Shiro, I mean, it's nice to see people motivated about the game and like actually, like really wanting to play. Not that it wasn't ever like that, but it's just like, see that it's still going to be that way, going forward. And of course, the part of me is like, oh, I wish I could stay and like, keep playing, keep grinding, but I got to pass the torch eventually.
Hey, I have no doubt that you'll still be there in some form or fashion, being working remotely or just even the heart of the squad. I have no doubt that you have left a permanent mark on the squad, and for the better, of course. And then one final super serious question. As you can see on the screen, you only had 68 saves. We thought you were going to get to 69 saves. My disappointment is immeasurable, sir. What are you going to do to make this up to me, Anton? I'm not going to be there to cast you next week.
Oh, I think one way to get around that is I actually don't save the ball next week, so we can wait till you're casting the week afterwards. But I actually think there was a one save where Shiro got in my way, so you can blame that one on him. That's his mistake on that play.
Oh, Shiro. All right. It's you who owes me one. Okay. All right. Well, thanks. Memes aside, any shout outs you want to give here before we let you go enjoy your dub?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my teammates, obviously, first and foremost, Kicker, Shiro, fantastic guys. Also Darren Nut and Lamb as well. Great guys. The entire Yukon community and everyone else who's watching, thank you. And I think that's it for me.
Anton, thank you so much for coming to talk with us. Always a pleasure. You're one of the long-standing pillars, I think, of EGFC with the way you've led the squad, and it won't be the same without you. Look forward to continue watching this season, and wish you all the best going into the postseason.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, friends. Well, sorry, it's been a hell of a day. What a great day here in Week 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic, and so much, to kind of see, with these teams, right? And even though, we get some 3-0 sweeps here and there in EGFC, the variety of talents and seeing everyone kind of come up together is always so much fun to watch. Just giving these schools this platform to show off what they have going for themselves. Fantastic to see.
It's a joy. It's a joy. It keeps me coming back, and I look forward to it each and every week. Just a reminder, tomorrow, as my producer is poking me in the eyeball to tell you all this, we do have some Overwatch coming up tomorrow, both collegiate and high school Overwatch taking place here and on the EGF Overwatch channel, I'm guessing. EGF Overwatch and then EGF High School will be the place to find those. Those, of course, on top of your official EGF channel. Might as well just follow EGF on Twitter. You know what? Go follow them on Twitter. It's @officialEGF, same as this Twitch channel, and then you'll know. Then you will be notified when all of the action takes place here in EGF. But that is going to do it for us here this evening. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us, enjoying these fantastic games. Big shout out to all our players putting in the hard work, coming in and week out, and just leaving it all on the pitch. Couldn't do it without y'all. And, hey, that's going to do it for us. Have a wonderful night, friends. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.